100 పైన వచ్చినారు. అందరూ ఒక ఆ పక్క 5-6 వీధులంతా బంధువులే అంటే ఇంకేం చేస్తారు? ఎవరో తెలియదంతా వచ్చినారు. ఎవరో తెలియదు. నాకు చాలా మంది తెలియదు ఎవరు.
మేడం గీతా గిరిరాజ్, మేడం గీతా గిరిరాజ్ కైండ్లీ మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి.
మేము ఫస్ట్ టైమే చూస్తుండేది మా సొంత ఊర్లని. మాకేం తెలుసు? మా తాతల కాలం లాంటి రిలేటివ్స్ ఎవరో తెలీదు. మేమే సిటీస్ నుండి ఇట్లా వచ్చిన వాళ్ళమే 50 మంది పైన అయినాము. ఇంకా ఆ లోకల్ గా వచ్చిన వాళ్ళందరూ
Jessima sir.
Yes sir.
Somebody's audio, I think, better you only mute.
ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ನನ್ನ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ತೆಗೆದುಬಿಟ್ಟಾರೆ. Since I have
yourself.
I बोल रही
Forty-one participants.
ನನ್ನ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಂತ.
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬಂದಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬರ್ತದ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ 2 ಸಲ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆದೆ ರೀಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗಿ
Supriya? Supriya? Hello, Supriya. Supriya, Chandani, speak something, no? Chandani, speak something.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am? Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Chandni, please speak or.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Chandni, please speak.
Ma'am, I'll start.
No, wait. You just speak for some sentences so that we can test the microphone speakers here.
Very good morning to one and all.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
I am Ms. Chaniar Mukashi, a student of
बंद आहे चार्ज खाली देते
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನ
Madam, can we start? It's 10:40.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, we'll start.
Yeah, we can start, madam. People will join. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Because already the guests have joined.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
keep them waiting. Okay.
Yes, sir, we'll start.
Now I think it is coming on YouTube also, no? Yes, yes, it is coming.
Yes.
Yes, right.
A very good morning to one and all. I, Ms. Chani R. Mokashi, student of 4th year BA LLB of K.L.E.Society's B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi, is the master of ceremony of today's one-day online national workshop on COVID-19 reimagining education in the post-pandemic world with special reference to legal institutions, organized by K.L.E.Society's B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi, in association with Jurists wing of Prajapita, Brahmakumaris, Ishwariya, Vishwavidyalaya, Mount Abu. I am delighted to welcome you all on behalf of K.L.E.Society's B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi, to the one-day online workshop, which is live streamed on Zoom as well as on YouTube. K.L.E.Society, B.V.Bellad Law College, established in the year 1975 and is running both the programs, which is LLB as well as 5-year BA LLB courses. The college is regularly organizing national level seminar, workshop, conferences, moot court competitions, cultural activities, and sports meet under the banner of IQAC. B.V.Bellad Law College is in the continuous process of organizing various national level webinars, be it legal, spiritual, physical, and mental fitness and like. Today is one such one-day online national workshop on the topic COVID-19 Reimagining Education in Post-Pandemic World with special reference to legal education. May I now call upon Tejaswini Vavare, a second-year LLB student of B.V.Bellad Law College, to invoke the presence of the Almighty. Over to you, Tejaswini.
जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों का संकट छिन में, भक्त जनों का संकट छिन में दूर करे, जो भावे फल पावे दुख विनसे मन का। जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे। सुख संपत्ति गृह आवे, सुख संपत्ति गृह आवे, कष्ट मिटे तन का। मात पिता तुम मेरे शरण गहूं किसकी, तुम बिन और न दूजा। आस धरो किसकी, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जगदीश हरे, जगदीश हरे।
Thank you, Tejaswini. It is said, a gets its grace when the host welcomes the guest. To welcome you all, I invite Dr. B. Jayasimha sir, Principal of B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chandni, and also thank you, Tejashwini, for that very soothing song, invoking the blessings of Almighty. With all the good deeds come from all the directions today, that we are hosting this one-day national level webinar on a very important topic, COVID-19, the reimagining of education post-pandemic, with special reference to legal institutions. Friends, the pandemic has thrown a harsh light on the vulnerabilities and challenges the human face globally. It exposed the inequalities and provided a clear picture of various steps to be taken in addressing them. Primarily addressing the education of billions of students whose learning has been hampered due to closure of schools and colleges. At the outset, the role of higher education institutions during this pandemic is noteworthy. However, the shift is what is now generally recognized as remote learning, but the desire of students as to campus experience was really a great setback. With the life coming back to normalcy, thanks to the initiation of the state and the government, where the vaccination took place at rampant and all the stakeholders got vaccinated and the situation has come down to normalcy. Now we have back to the campus learning. But what is important here is the post-pandemic has highlighted some underlying vulnerabilities in the education system, and various stakeholders have also been envisaged with what we call the challenges of attending the classes and listening to the classes or lectures that take place in the class. And it's natural that, like any other institutions, even the law institutions suffered a great setback during the pandemic. The law students were deprived of their core clinical education, such as attending the court proceedings, visits to courts, other quasi-judicial bodies, advocates' chamber, visit to the various legal institutions, and therefore the legal education being a skill-based profession, students had suffered a lot. Hence, now bringing them back to the track and has become a challenge for the teaching communities as well as even the students to adjust to the changeover. It is in this background we thought of having one webinar, and we are thankful to the jurist wing of Brahmakumaris, Ishwariya, Vishwavidyalaya, Mount Abu, who has associated with us and has given us two very eminent speakers from jurist wing to address on these challenges. And it gives me an immense pleasure to welcome all these eminent speakers. At the very outset, I welcome Dr. E.V. Swaminathan, considered to be an internationally acclaimed motivational speaker, who will be motivating, or who will be bringing energy into all the students who are participating here, and will take will deliver on a talk from diversity to integrity. I extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Swaminathan ji. You were here with us in the past, and it is a great honor to have you once again back in our national webinar. On behalf of all the participants here, I extend a very warm welcome to you. Friends, we have Dr. Justice Ishwariya, the former acting Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh, and who has been considered to be one of the noblest judges in the judiciary, and delivered some landmark judgments, especially addressing the needs of the society. He will be addressing on the topic called the challenges and opportunities in the legal profession, the post-pandemic. Dr. Justice Ishwariya sir is likely to join in a while now. I welcome on behalf of all the participants. Has kindly consented to address on the topic effect of COVID pandemic on legal education. What are the issues and challenges? I extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Rashmi Oja, who will be joining at the later part of this event. We have amidst of us Honorable Justice A.S. Pachapure, the former Judge, High Court of Karnataka, who is a very acclaimed speaker and always supporting our endeavors. I welcome Dr. A.S. Pachapure to this event. I welcome Brahmakumari Vidyaka, who has been supporting our endeavors and who has been instrumental in organizing this program. I have witnessed some of my good friends, the principals of various law colleges joining here, and various law professors from all the colleges across the nation. Some of my good friends from Andhra Pradesh, they have also joined. I'm delighted to listen to Telugu speaking participants because my mother tongue is Telugu, and I welcome them all to this webinar. And I welcome all my staff who have joined this webinar, and above all, I welcome all my dear students to this webinar. With this welcome address, I hand the proceedings back to Chandran. Over to you, Chandran.
Thank you, sir. May I now call upon Preeti Gangadhar, General Secretary of B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi, to welcome with B.V.Bellad, Brahmakumaris, Mount Abu. Over to you, Preeti.
Thank you, Chandni. I am privileged to introduce Brahmakumaris Sister Vidyaji to this August gathering. Brahmakumaris Sister Vidyaji is postgraduate in law from Karnataka University. She is associated with Prajapita Brahmakumaris Ishwariya Vishwavidyalaya from the past 17 years. In 1993, she has dedicated her life completely for the service of God and for the humanity at large. Along with this, she is also has worked as a guest faculty in RL Law College, Belgaum, for 15 years. She is senior member of the Jurists wing of Raj Yoga Education and Research Foundation, a sister concern of the Brahmakumaris. She has been taking an active role in conducting various trainings such as self-management, leadership, stress management, positive thinking, personality development, Raj Yoga mediation, etc. to create awareness and to motivate mass public to lead a positive and stress-free life. She has rendered her services at government and non-governmental places like Goa Government College, Bangalore Doordarshan, ML IRC, DTI Belgaum, DIET Belgaum, Industries, Engineering and Medical Colleges. She has also visited USA for spiritual service, participated in international conference at Sri Lanka. At present, she is giving her services in the Anugod Brahmakumaris branch of Belgaum. Here I present before you all Brahmakumari Vidyaji. Now I request Vidya Bahenji to give preparatory talk. Over to you, Chandni. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I would like to tell something about the Brahmakumaris and the present situation which we are all facing, and what all should be done and what all can be done through spirituality. Founded in 1937, Brahmakumaris is the largest spiritual organization in the world that is spearheaded by women. This university is on a mission to create a more peaceful space and a better world for everyone. Raj Yoga meditation is a form of mind-body intervention that is promoted by the Brahmakumaris Ishwariya Vishwavidyalaya. This form of meditation can be easily performed without any rituals or mantras, and it can be practiced anywhere at any time by anyone. The practice of Raj Yoga meditation can have beneficial effects on modulating anxiety and cortisol level in patients undergoing major cardiac surgery. Through Raj Yoga, we raise to inner self-consciousness, and the significance of self-consciousness is that it is a place where people come to study the inner working of the self-understanding, how mind consciousness, awareness are all related to the things that we see in the world around us, because there is a straight line connection between my awareness, my vision, and my attitude, my activity, and so the way I think. We can feel actually the impacts of the world here. And so by changing our consciousness to a higher awareness of the spiritual consciousness of the soul, we know that there can be a difference for the world out there. We can together create a better world, a world in which the future is a bright one for everyone, and a world in which there can be peace and harmony for all. Raj Yoga meditation gives you a clear spiritual understanding of yourself, and it helps you to rediscover and use the qualities and powers already latent within everyone. It enables you to build a positive attitude towards everything and develop new responses. Raj Yoga meditation is an easy, natural, open-eyed technology, and that can be used by anyone, anywhere. The Brahmakumaris was among the first South Asian organizations to have received a general consultative status in 1982. We can see that the work of Brahmakumaris is not only with the inner peace and peace out there, but all levels of their activities, whether it is for young people or for women or health issues, environment, etc. And so, with its 20 wings of different levels, Jurist wing is one among them, and the Brahmakumaris is working for everyone in this world. The Brahmakumaris is a non-profit center headquartered in Mount Abu, a hill station in India, western state of Rajasthan, together with hospitals which have played a significant role in treating COVID-19 patients to recover them throughout India by devoting their infrastructure, workforce, and resources. The Brahmakumaris campus was used as a COVID treatment center for several months last year too, and the COVID patients here had got a recovery rate of over 99%. Brahmakumaris is working in this way in all fields, and especially for those who have struck with COVID virus. The different hospitals which are run by the Brahmakumaris are also playing their in their full capacity by providing not only treatment but also counseling and therapy sessions to the patients. In addition, they have deployed mobile clinics to reach out to the villagers not only about COVID-19 but other related infections or other diseases. This work is being done throughout the year, and it is a social service done by the Brahmakumaris. During pandemic at least, the Brahmakumaris have catered to patients with vegetarian sattvic food combined with different amenities, and also the to boost nutrition, fruits, coconut water, etc. also were given. Besides the physical aid, the organization has given equal importance to the mental well-being of the patients and families who have lost their loved ones to the pandemic. Crises such as COVID-19 pandemic have shown that change is the only constant method. Meditation and mindfulness can offer a helpful way to live with its constant change. Meditation services were provided by the Brahmakumaris through their own channel of Peace of Mind, Awakening TV, or other channels constantly to cope up with the pandemic related stress. Meditation apps, online classes throughout all the centers of the Brahmakumaris throughout the world kept their followers in a healthy state. Both learning and having a regular meditation practice benefited the patients and others too. During pandemic life, the challenges were very strict, but the spirituality is adopted in this life, then life becomes smooth and easy. Every person in the world is bound by spiritual and local laws. If a person violates the law deliberately or without any reason, you all know, as being law faculty or law students or law related persons, every person needs a judicial system to rectify the violation. Today, judicial system is getting complicated, due to which the lawyers, the judges have to work under pressure and it also affects their mental and physical well-being. Spirituality is a tool that provides a positive perspective to everyone to face any challenge or any trouble in life. Efforts have been made to explain spirituality in different ways in all religions of the world. Prajapita Brahmakumaris Ishwariya Vishwavidyalaya which was established by the Supreme Being, God Shiva himself, through the medium of Brahma, told that spirituality begins with self to solve the strangest riddle of who am I, and also to get what powers we need in our day-to-day life. In 1984, the Jurists wing was established under the Raj Yoga Education and Research Foundation to serve people who are engaged in legal services, that is, judges, advocates, chartered accountants, chartered secretariat, law students, etc., to profess the spirituality in the entire world, which is taught by Almighty God Shiva, who is the real preacher of Gita. The growing demand worldwide for justice, liberty, equality of opportunity, and protection of human rights has been equaled by increasing crime and litigation. The root cause, increasing crime, is the triumph of greed, anger, lust, ego, possessiveness, etc. over the innate goodness of the human soul. The Jurist wing proposes a new science of law based on an understanding of natural and divine laws, which takes a holistic view of the universe. This was introduced by Honorable Justice Krishna Ayarji, who was the patron to Jurist wing of the Brahmakumaris, had called this as Om Shanti Jurisprudence. And this new jurisprudence will include preventive measures that increase the psychological and spiritual immunity of people to stress, temptation, and passions of life. It also includes remedial measures proven effective in reforming persons with criminal tendencies. The post-pandemic has highlighted some underlying vulnerabilities in the educational system, but various stakeholders have strived to address challenges. Blended learning will be a new norm, which also has been emphasized in our NEP 2020. Like any other educational institutions, law institutions also have suffered a great setback during pandemic, as just now principal was telling. Law students were deprived of their core clinical education. In this background, B.V.Bellad Law College and Jurist wing of Brahmakumaris, we are organizing an online national level workshop, Reimagining of Education in Post-Pandemic World, with special reference to legal institutions. This is really a worthwhile motive and program to encourage the learners to regularize their academic activities, motivate the teachers to update with the new normal pedagogies and in their teaching, and introduce major changes experienced by the legal profession during this pandemic. I am very happy to say that Brahmakumaris is also part of this special program, national level program, and I'm thankful to the B.V.Bellad Law College and also the principal of the college and organizers for giving us an opportunity to express our views for this program. Thank you very much. Thank you one and all. Om Shanti.
Thank you, ma'am, for enlightening us about the significance of self-consciousness and importance of Raj Yoga meditation in our day-to-day life. May I now call upon Mr. Abhishek Pandit, third year LLB student of B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi, to welcome Dr. E.V. Swaminathan. Over to you, Abhishek.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Abhishek Pandit. I'm a final year LLB student from B.V.Bellad College. Today, it's my privilege to introduce Dr. E.V. Swaminathan ji before you all. Sir has completed his BTech, DDH, PGDH, MSc Psychology, MSc Counseling, MSc Yoga, MBA, and his PhD as well. He is a dynamic counselor and consultant with a clear focus on delivering value to the industry. He is a corporate trainer, integrating science with spirituality. He has also appeared on numerous television talks and shows like Z Jagayan, Astha, and Sanskar Channel. Swaminathanji delivers lectures and seminars on various topics like emotional engineering, total quality life, make mind your best friend, concentration and memory, the art of leadership, dealing with COVID, mental and emotional issues, and many more. A few prestigious industries for which Sir has delivered his training programs are Tata Motors, State Bank of India, GMR, Airport Authority of India, and others. A few hospitals to mention are JJ Hospital, KEM Hospital, Hinduja, Indian Medical Association, and others. Colleges and universities he has covered are almost all the IITs in India, JNU, Lagos University, University of Kathmandu, and others. He also delivers his lectures and training for military and paramilitary forces, including the Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force. He not only delivers his discourses to the police department in India, but also to Nigerian police, Nepal police, and other countries as well. When I was asked to introduce Sir, the question was, what will I talk for 5 minutes? But when I started reading and listening to his lectures, it was like even 15 minutes, 50 minutes or less to introduce him. I would like to give one of his best quotes. Swaminathanji always says, teachers and parents should stop telling their students to become successful. Instead, they should tell them to become more peaceful, stable, and happy. What a lovely quote, sir. Before I sum up my introduction, I would like to say that, as in the game of cricket, it is always good to learn a cover drive or a hook shot from Sachin Tendulkar and not from Harsha Bhogle. Similarly, in the field of motivation and wisdom, it's always better to learn from someone who practices it daily and not only talks about it. So that's why we have Swaminathanji here today. So we are really proud to have such a multi-dimensional personality amongst us to motivate all the student community. I present before you all Dr. Swaminathanji. So I request you to take over the session from here. Thank you.
Thanks, Abhi, for your warm welcome and your beautiful introduction. Thank you very much. Good morning, namaskar. Please accept lots of greetings of peace, love, and happiness. Is my voice audible? Right? In case there are approximately more than 100 participants, I would request all of you, in case my voice is audible, you can put a yes on the chat. Can you put a yes on the chat, my dear friends? Because the moment you put a yes on the chat, it really inspires me. Oh, great, great. Thanks, Abhi. Thanks, Dr. Jaisimha. Thanks. Oh my God, I can see so many yes. Okay, good, good, great. Because first of all, I would love to appreciate Dr. B. Jaisimha ji and the entire team of B.V.Bellad College of Law who have organized this wonderful program and then national level webinar. And the main topic is, post-pandemic learning challenges. Now, one of the challenges that we teachers and professors have been facing for the last 2 years is, we have been interacting with the students, not actually seeing them. So I would make a simple, humble request. If it's possible, I'll put you on the gallery, and if you can switch on the video, at least mujhe aapke darshan to ho jayenge. Some of you, can I request you to switch on the video? Oh, great, great, great. I can see the ever smiling face of Justice V. Ishwariya sir. Good morning, sir. Namaskar. Jai Hind, sir. And I can see Reshma ji, I can see Srinivas ji, Vidya ji. I can see, yeah, Dr. Supriya is already there. Right. Wonderful, wonderful. Pavitrata Patil ji, thank you. Thank you, Shiva Shankar. Thank you, Advocate Maheshwari ji. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, this was one of the greatest challenges that we teachers and professors have been facing for the last 2 years. Okay. So, thank you very much. In fact, I remember I was doing, put it on the, I just asked you to switch on the video, not the audio. Okay. My simple, humble request. Okay. Okay, now another simple, I need a feedback. Even if you have switched off the video, that's your choice. Okay, I will not force upon you, but at least I'll be very happy if you can interact me on the chat. I would want to know which language you are comfortable. मैं जयसिम्हा सर से बोलना चाहूँगा कि I would have loved in your sweet language of Telugu, but I'm so sorry, I just know English and Hindi. So I just want to know from the participants, how many of you understand both Hindi and English? Can you put it on the chat? English and Hindi is okay. English, both. Great, great, great. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, okay, okay. Some of you, okay, okay, beautiful. Hindi, English, both. So, जैसे मैं सर मैं बीच में हिंदी इंग्लिश बोलूंगा, you can ask
sure,
some of
sir.
your teachers to do the translation in the language of Telugu also, so that you will also feel good. Yes. The topic that you gave me,
Telugu.
sir. हाँ बोलिए. Please tell, sir.
The Telugu translation part I will do.
Okay.
Because
I will ask some of.
Happy.
Yes, very good. So first of all, I would love to acknowledge and appreciate all the students who are attending this particular program. I've got lots of respect, lots of love, lots of regards for you. You know the reason, my dear young friends? Because the challenge that you faced in the last 2 years, Swaminathan has never faced when I was in the school or the college. So therefore, I have got lots of respect, lots of love, lots of regards for you. In fact, I feel that you are much more strong, much more powerful than what I am, because I never faced such a kind of a situation. My school days, my college days, my postgraduate days were all full of joy, full of colors. It was so beautiful. But being cornered in the home sweet home for 2 years, particularly when you are bubbling with so much of energy, enthusiasm, I do understand and appreciate the emotions and the feelings that you are facing. So I'm not here to advise you, my dear friends, but as a good friend, I would love to share with all of you some of the inputs. In fact, the topic that your honorable principal gave me itself is a very challenging topic. Diversity to integrity. My God, it looks so philosophical, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to play to you a simple movie. It's approximately a 5 minutes movie, and you'll be very happy to understand it's a cartoon movie. It will seem very childish to you, but I want you to watch this movie. And at the end of this 5 minutes movie, we will try to analyze this particular movie. Are you there with me? Put a yes on the chat. So तो नहीं गए बच्चे? अभी यार ये ना online program यही होता है. Yes. Okay. Yes. You're still awake. Good. I remember in this 2 years now, I was interacting with my PhD students. So, and our university law is only we can give attendance only if the student's video is switched on. So while I was taking the class, I found one of the students' video switched off. So with lots of love, I asked that particular student to switch on the video. तो उन्होंने switch on ही नहीं किया. तो मैं बार-बार बोल रहा था. Towards my fag end of my session, I felt that if the student's video is not switched on, she will lose her attendance. तो मैंने बहुत स्नेह, प्यार, मोहब्बत से मैंने उस बच्ची को कहा, बच्ची क्या हुआ? कुछ प्रॉब्लम है क्या? प्लीज वीडियो ऑन करो ना. Then suddenly the video got switched on. और मेरे सामने पता कौन था? उस बच्ची की मम्मा. और उस मम्मा ने कहा, सर योर स्टूडेंट इज स्लीपिंग हियर. और उसने ये है ना रिकॉर्डिंग में कर दिया है और आराम से सो रही है. For the last half an hour to 45 minutes, I've been watching you, and you have been requesting my daughter with so much of peace and love. Sir, मुझे आप पर ही रहम आ गया. I felt so sympathy and empathy towards you. Therefore, I switched on the video. Right? So this is also a possibility. Good. But I'm very happy that all of you are awake. Thanks, my dear young friends. I'll play this beautiful cartoon movie. I think in the 2005 Mexico Festival, this cartoon movie had got an International Film Festival award also. So give me 1 minute time. I will share screen that video for you. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Sorry, it's in the year 2000. Okay. It's called as a freedom song. A simple movie with a very powerful script, right? Okay, now once you have seen this particular movie, now I'll ask you 3 simple questions, okay? And I'll certainly help you also. Let's analyze this particular beautiful movie. The first question is, who is the bird? Number 2, which is the cage? And number 3, who is the king? पंछी कौन है? पिंजरा क्या है? राजा कौन है? I'll help you out. In fact, pre-pandemic situation, I showed this particular video, this particular movie to my engineering students. और मैंने उनसे पूछा, पंछी कौन है? पिंजरा क्या है? राजा कौन है? So one student gets up and says, sir, we students are the birds, sir. I go, wow. Then which is the cage? Well, I say this 4 walls of this university, this classroom is the cage. I was so excited. I asked them, who is the king? Well, sir, aap Professor King ho, sir. And I was so happy. And I told them, my dear wonderful engineering rupee birds, today I'll give you total freedom to all of you. I'll give you 100% attendance. आप student रूपी पंछी जहां से भी उड़ना चाहें आप उड़ सकते हो. In fact, I showed this video to my MBA students and asked them the same questions. Who is the bird? Which is the cage? And who is the king? So one student got up and said, sir, the business of today is the bird, sir. Like, okay, then which is the cage? So the student thought for a minute and said, sir, GST is like a cage. Then I was very excited. मैंने कहा भाई राजा कौन है? बोला सर देश का राजा कौन है ये तो आप जानते हो ना? मैंने कहा yes, I am very much aware. Now there are various ways of interpreting this. I want you to help me out. What I am going to do is, I am going to tell you the first thing, which is the bird, because there is a limitation of time. Otherwise, we would have spent hours discussing about this. But what I am going to do is, I am going to tell you which is the bird, and I want you to. Okay. Jyoti ji, please mute yourself. Jyoti ji, okay. I request the organizers, if possible, if you can mute them, please. Okay, thank you. Okay. Since there is a paucity of time, let us move towards a topic that has been given and designed for us. My dear friends, I'll tell you which is the bird, right? And I want you to extrapolate and tell me which is the cage and who is the king. Now, bird is something which always would want to fly, okay? And in our life, right, the bird is something we call it as a dreams, हमारे सपने, हमारे vision. Okay, whether you are young boys and girls or people like us, parents, teachers, professors, anybody in this world, the most important step in life is to dream. Okay, so the bird is something which we connect with the dreams. Now I want you to put it on the chat, my dear young friends who are participating in this program, which is the cage and who is the king, right? Can you put it on the chat? What is the thing that is stopping you to dream? Cage. Can you put it on the chat? Hello? Put it on the chat. कितना प्यार से मैं पूछ रहा हूँ भाई. What is the thing? Society is the cage. Okay, okay. अरे, if you want to dream अभी, how is the society stopping you to dream? Okay, they may not help you to flourish and make your dream successful. But dream करने के लिए society क्यों force रोकेगा आपको? कैसे रोक सकता है? Okay, but I appreciate. Cage is the brutes rules. Okay, okay. And no one of us are happy about the rules and regulations. Cage is the pressure and the expectations. Komal, Pavitrata, right? I appreciate your initiative. COVID is the cage. But dream करने के लिए COVID, the small beautiful virus, is stopping me to dream. Our own thoughts of limitations. Yes, now that's beautiful answer. Okay, that's what is very, very important. We'll try to analyze this. Okay, and I appreciate all your answers, and all those who have written it. I also appreciate that you have got a very beautiful handwriting also, right? बहुत सुंदर और प्यारा handwriting है. So this is a topic, post-pandemic learning challenges, and important is the shift from diversity towards integrity. In fact, the bird which always wants to fly is our dreams. Is our dreams. What is the thing that is stopping us to dream? Okay, no matter whatever be the situation outside, it's our fear, it's our anxiety, it's our stress, tension, pressures, whatever you told. I acknowledge all that answers, but slowly what is very, very important is our own mindset. It's our own mindset, because it is a mind that creates the dream. And if I'm not able to dream, we need to work on the most important resource, and that's the mind. By the way, who is the king? Raja kaun hai bhai? Who is the king? Who is the king? Put it on the chat. Raja kaun hai? Hello? Raja kaun hai? Who is the king? Dreams? Okay, okay. Mind is like a cage which is stopping us. Usko freedom dena padega. But kaun freedom dega? Raja kaun hai? Raja kaun hai? Yes, who is the king? And that's what is very, very important. And this is what we are going to do. We are going to understand this, right? King is the self. The king is the self. Okay. I can become the king. I can become a master of my own destiny. Okay. I would love to quote a very wonderful, a very wonderful human being, the past president of India, late Dr. Kalam sir. He always used to say, we should teach our kids how to dream. And then he used to say, dream, dream, and dream. Dreams are not something that we see in sleep, but dreams are something which shouldn't allow us to sleep. सपने वो नहीं जो हम सोते वक्त देखते, लेकिन सपने वो जो हमें सोने नहीं देवे. I remember I was doing a session for young boys and girls from across the country, and it was in the mid-pandemic situation. Highest level of COVID cases. It was in the month of April, May, right, 2020. So when I was doing this session, and there were students from all across the country joined in, and it was a 3-day program. So I told them, I showed them the same video, and I told them, what is the dream that you have for yourself, right? Can you put, and since it was a 3-day program, मैंने उनको कहा कि आप एक अच्छा सा एक drawing बनाकर मुझे भेजना या लिख कर भेजना, right? तो बहुत लोगों ने अपने अपना ड्रीम्स बताया, बट वन ऑफ द वेरी ब्यूटीफुल ड्रीम विच आई लाइक, विच आई वुड लव टू शेयर विथ ऑल ऑफ यू, राइट? उन्होंने बहुत सुंदर एक फोटोग्राफ बनाया, पता है, and it was during the peak COVID situation when there was so much of a chaos and confusion across the globe. This particular 7th standard girl student एक बहुत प्यारा सा एक dream बनाया, and she put it in the form of a very wonderful colors. And you know what did she write? We dream of a world. एक अच्छी दुनिया का क्या हम परिसंकल्प कर सकते हैं क्या? That is full of joy, peace, bliss, health, wealth, and happiness, and certainly nature full of tranquility. एक अच्छा सपना सजाओ. So one of my simple, humble requests to all my young friends who are participating in this program is, no doubt there is many challenges right now that we are facing, but let's not stop dreaming. Okay. But many people ask me, sir, dreaming से कुछ काम होता है क्या? We also should be aware of the actual situation that we are in right now. Okay. Dream तो है, अभी हम देखते हैं what is the actual situation. Okay. So the present level emotions that the whole world is facing, we have been facing for many years, but these 2.5 years of COVID situation, the actual situation जो ground level situation में था, there were actually emotions of fear. लोग बहुत डर गए थे. Fear of the unknown, fear of the future, etc., etc. Number two, because there was a lot of fear, there was anger brewing inside. And you know the reason, my dear young friends, हमको गुस्सा क्यों आ रहा था? And therefore you might have seen many YouTube videos where people are reacting very strongly to the norms, rules, regulations that was put forward by the government of India and the state government. Mask लगाना चाहिए, rule था. I may not like it, but when faced with a police, you saw the young couple reacting very fast. It happened on both ways. It happened when the people were interacting with the government officials. We also saw a situation where the government officials went to a marriage party, tried to impose the rules and regulations. There was one thing common, and there was lots of anger that was coming in. And you know the reason why people were very angry? If you look from the psychological perspective, हमने हमेशा सोचा था कि we can control the whole world. We can control nature, science, technology, our intelligence. But एक छोटे से प्यारे से कोरोना वायरस ने हमको दिखा दिया कि no. And we were so egoistic. हम इतने अहंकार में आ गए थे, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं the small virus had to teach us a very wonderful lesson, and therefore we were getting angry. And when there was fear, when there was anger, there was lots of insecurity that has happened. I would love, I'm interacting with all the law students. I always, more or less, my interaction is with engineering students. You know, the difference between engineering and the law students is, engineers usually deal with machines, and the machines have got no emotions as it is. So engineers, in a sense, they are much more lucky because they have to take care of their own emotions only, because out of 24 hours, if 8 hours you are interacting with the machine doesn't speak to you. Okay, it gives you a little bit of sound that भाई थोड़ा सा gear problem है, थोड़ा सा lubrication नहीं हुआ, थोड़ा सा यहाँ है, बस इतना सा है. But people who are participating in law, the profession of law, you have a professional challenge, because every individual who comes to you with an emotional pain. When you look at doctors, people come to the doctors with a physical pain. It may affect them emotionally, but they always share the physical pain that they're undergoing. But lawyers, advocates, every individual who comes to you will share an emotional challenge with you, emotional pain with you. And just imagine the challenge that you face. You understand that this particular candidate who is on the wrong side of the law, but still he expects you and to safeguard him. Okay, that is one of the greatest challenges. Therefore, I have lots of respects and regards for people who are participating in this law. And therefore, I appreciate Vidya Behenji's input that to safeguard yourself, you should understand some cosmic laws also, which will help you. Some spiritual laws also, which will certainly help you. So, there's lots of fear, lots of anger, lots of insecurity. Now, life is a question of options. Life is a question of choice. I'll give you two options, my dear friends. And since I understand the law students are very buddhishali and intelligent, I'm sure you are going to choose the right option. Okay. Are you with me? So to nahi gaye bachche? Hello. Yes, likho if you are still awake. If you are still awake. Yes. Okay. Right. Wonderful. Beautiful. So I'll give you two options. Oh, wonderful. Thanks all of you. Okay. I'll give you two options, और दोनों option में से सही option choose करना. Okay. The first option is, Outside, there's so much of challenges, so much of situations, so much of pressure, so much of chaos, confusion. The first option is, या बाहर का situation सब ठीक हो जाए, then I'll bring my mind to a state of peace and stability. That is the first option. Second option, my dear friends, is if I bring my mind to a state of peace and stability, then I develop the inner strength and power to manage the external challenges. Which is the right option? First or second? First or second? My God, Shriya, Pavitrata, Kishan Kumar, Reshma ji, okay, M.H. Nadav ji, okay, oh my God. Thank you, thanks a lot for your participation. Now you have chosen this cosmic law. शायद वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में ये लॉ लिखा है कि नहीं मुझे नहीं पता है, बट यू हैव चोजन इट. आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू, ये जो आपने चूज किया ना इस पर्टिकुलर फिलॉसफी को, इस पर्टिकुलर पोस्टुलेट को, इस हाइपोथेसिस को, I want you to explore this hypothesis for the next 24 hours. That if I bring my mind to a state of peace and stability, then slowly I'll develop that inner strength and power to manage the external challenges. Please explore, please experiment, and please experience it. And that's my simple, humble suggestion to you. So, how do I come to know whether your mind is peaceful, if your mind is stable, and thereby your mind is happy? Face. Face is the index of your mind. And this is the photograph which I always love it. Yes. Remember your childhood sweet memories. No stress, no tension, full of happiness. They say a small child smiles and laughs 300 times per day. एक छोटा बच्चा दिन में 300 बार मुस्कुराता है और खुश होता है. How about law students? How many times you smile per day? Put it on the chat. कितनी बार मुस्कुराते हो? कितनी बार खुश होते हो? Right? How many times you smile per day? Law students? अबे कुछ तो लिखो ना. कितना प्यार से पूछ रहा हूँ. How many times you smile per day? For an off lecture. Many times. 2 or 3 times. Shreya, I really appreciate your honest confession. 2 or 3 times. And I remember your answer exactly matches with my engineering answer also. I was asking my Mumbai University engineering students, why kitni baar muskurate? And this is pre-pandemic situation. So one student gets up and says, so 3 times, sir. Morning breakfast, afternoon lunch, evening dinner. And he was a nice student like you, right? So then I looked at him and said, making fun of my question? He said, no. And I said, why did you give such an answer? So usne muskurate hue kaha, sir, right? I consider myself so saubhagyashali that at least I've got 3 square meals to have. Enough good reason for us to be happy and smiling, correct? And therefore what Abhi was telling, that is my favorite quote. And pre-pandemic situation also मैं हमेशा ये बोलता था, लेकिन post-pandemic situation I am absolutely convinced कि we professors and teachers till now were advocating success, but now we should speak more about happiness, and happiness is a state of mind. Sometimes we professors and teachers become very egoistic, that I teach students who are pursuing B.Tech, M.Tech, PhD, LLB, BSc, BCom. But the best graduation degree in life is in this 2 years which we have learned. And thanks to the small coronavirus is be calm, be cool, be stable. And this is which I am also practicing, my dear friends. I have been practicing it. Can I become calm? Can I become cool? It is easier said than done, but still we need to understand this cosmic law, right? The spiritual law. And for that, to remain cool and calm, the technique is what is called as meditation. It's a very beautiful technique. Meditation has come from the Latin word medi, which means to heal yourself. Healing. Treatment is required at the physical level. Healing is required at the mental and emotional level. Okay, that's what is very, very important. So, what is the simple technique of meditation? It's very simple, my dear friends. In meditation, we have to make our mind a very good friend. हमें अपने मन को एक बहुत अच्छा दोस्त बनाना है. Can we make our mind a very good friend? For example, if you are all alone and there are so much of mood swings that is happening, okay, suddenly you receive a phone call. And then the person rings you up and you're not able to identify because that name is not there in your contact list. So आप पूछते आप कौन हो? So that particular person across then says, आप हमें पहचान ही नहीं पा रहे हो, you're not able to identify. तो फिर आप बार बार पूछते भाई कौन हो, अरे बचपन के दोस्त को आप भूल गए हो, remember we used to go to the school together, we used to play pranks together, we used blah 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 blah, and then suddenly you identify, hello, you are so and so, you are so and so, and so you have an heart-to-heart conversation with a childhood classmate, friend, Sakhi, and after 10 to 15 minutes of that beautiful heart-to-heart conversation, you feel your mind so energized, you feel so good, you feel so relaxed. Correct? Your problem has not been solved. The problem still remains the same, but your mind becomes so good. It is just to have a heart-to-heart conversation with your friend. But the question is, in this time, right, where do we get such good friends? Yes, you may have a lot of good friends, but in the technique of meditation is, what has been suggested is, can I make my mind a very good friend and start communicating with my mind? For example, my dear friends, if I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to you in Hindi, I'm speaking to you in English, right? I would have loved to speak in your sweet language of Telugu also, correct? But most important thing is, we need to have a language for communication. Similarly, my dear friends, can you tell me what is the language of the mind? What is the language of the mind? Can you put it on the chat? Can you put it on the chat? Hello? Hello, are you there? Are you there? What is the language of the mind? Mother tongue. Okay. Okay, good. What's the language of the mind? Calmness. Okay. Your breath. Okay, beautiful. Silence. Wow. Yes, silence is no doubt a universal language. I appreciate that answer. But still, what is the language of the mind? Happiness. Okay. Right. Thoughts. Okay. Tejaswini, for example, I appreciate that answer, happiness. Happiness is an emotion. To express the emotion of happiness, you have to use a language. For example, if I want to say that I am very happy, agar English mein mujhe bolna hai, to I'll say I am very happy today meeting all these young friends of mine who are studying law. Okay. Hindi mein main bolunga main aaj bahut khush hu कि आज मैं है ना B.V.Bellad law college के बच्चों से मिल रहा हूँ. That's Hindi. If I want to speak in Malayalam, that's my mother tongue. I'll say, ഇന്നെനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര സന്തോഷമുള്ള ദിവസമാണ്, എന്തുകൊണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ B.V.Bellad law college നല്ല കുട്ടികളെടുത്ത് ഞാൻ സംസാരിക്കുവാണ്. That's Malayalam. Jaisimha sir, how do we speak that in Telugu? How do we speak that in Telugu? I'm very happy because I'm meeting wonderful, beautiful young friends of B.V.Bellad law college. Please translate that in Telugu.
నాకు చాలా సంతోషంగా ఉంది. ఈ రోజు నేను B.V.Bellad లా కాలేజ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ తో కలుస్తున్నందుకు.
Yeah, santosham is common, sir. Whether it's Hindi, whether it's Sanskrit, whether it is Telugu.
Yeah.
Very good. So happiness is an emotion, but I can express it in my language. What I'm asking my dear young friends is, what is the language of the mind? Manassinte bhasha endanu? What is the language of the mind? Smile. Okay, Mrs. Sneha ji, that's also a good answer. Dr. Saeed ji says listening. Okay, that's beautiful. What's the language of the mind? In fact, I asked my engineering students, "Bachcho, man ki bhasha kaun si hai?" One student gets up and says, "Sir, out of syllabus, sir. Mind ke bare mein nahi padhate." Then what are we teaching in the 4 years of B.Tech, yaar? The most important resource is our mind. Okay, then I'll say, okay, I'll help you. And I'm here to help you out, all young, intelligent friends. Look at your childhood sweet memories. Which is the subject which was more or less liked by everybody? Don't say physics, chemistry, mathematics, history, language. Okay. Which is a subject that was liked by more or less every student? Childhood sweet memories. Tell me, which is the subject? Apart from playing games, hello, no games and no lunch break also. A subject. And don't say physics, chemistry, mathematics also. Rhymes, okay, that was closer to the answer, sir. Craft, Abhi, you are very close to the answer, but still one of the subject. Okay, PE stands for PT. Okay, I think so, physical education. Okay. Mother's love, Tejaswini, that is always there, Baba. I'm speaking of a subject. That is liked and loved by more or less every student. Drawing, how do I pronounce this name? Sainitya. I think I am pronouncing her name correctly. Yes, that is the correct answer. The language of the mind is images. Chitram. Okay. For example, I say the early morning sunrise. Early morning sunrise. The moment I say this, a thought comes to your mind and your mind creates an image of early morning sunrise. Hello, my dear young friends. Early morning sunrise, which color? Which color? Early morning sunrise, which color? Put it on the chat. Early morning sunrise,
Hello,
which color?
good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
Om Shanti.
Good morning, sir. Welcome. Early morning sunrise, which color? Okay, saffron, golden, orange, yellow. Okay, beautiful. The moment you write the color, na, Swaminathan sitting in Mumbai is able to understand what is your wake up call. Hello? Yes. The early morning sunrise is red in color. Slowly it goes to orangish and slowly it moves to yellow. Okay. Now, what I want you to understand is, the COVID is still not gone. We have to live with the COVID. One of the best way to help and make yourself strong is to empower your immunity. There were many debates and discussion across WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, etc., Instagram, what we should do, what we should not do. But people across the globe agreed on one thing, that if you have to fight with COVID, the best thing is work on your immunity. And for immunity, we all know there are 2 tablets that is required, vitamin C and vitamin D. Okay, where do we get vitamin D? Vitamin D is basically from the sunlight. Okay, people, when they were in quarantine, China has already started its lockdown once again. I'm not trying to install fear in you, but we need to be prepared for all eventualities. And the maximum amount of death that has happened in this 1.5 to 2 years, one thing was common, that was fear. Okay, and the moment your mind is under fear, automatically the physical power of the body automatically reduces. So sitting in your home sweet home, if you, through your mind, if you're able to see an early morning sunrise, red color, okay, and just give a thought to yourself, after every night there is going to be a dawn, believe me, you will improve your immunity. Your brain would start releasing vitamin D. When I told this to my engineering students, they told, sir, आप कुछ भी बोलते रहते हो sir. मन से सुबह सुबह का सूर्योदय देखने से हमारा brain vitamin D कैसे release कर सकता है? I'll give you a small example, and I want all of you young friends of law to participate. Okay, can you put a yes on the chat? Are you participating? Are you still there? So तो नहीं गए बच्चे? Yes, thank you. Okay, आराम से बैठो, relax. Okay, your handwriting is very beautiful. Thanks for your participation. अब आराम से बैठो. I'll just take half a minute with you. Okay. Now relax yourself. Through your mind, see your home sweet home. If you're already sitting in your home sweet home, through your mind, go to the kitchen. Go close to the fridge, open the fridge, and I want you to focus on a fresh lemon. Pick up the lemon. With the help of a knife, you cut open the lemon, and with your mind, keep on seeing that you are squeezing 1/2 of the lemon in a glass of water. बहुत स्नेह प्यार से इस सीन को देखते रहो. You are squeezing the fresh lemon in a glass of water. That's it. Thank you for your participation. Now if I ask you a question, how many of you, dear students, when you did this with your mind, you were able to generate saliva in your mouth? Put a yes on the chat. Wow. The breaking news, Tejaswini. The breaking news is your mind is your very good Sakhi. It listens to you because you are the master. You are the Rani. You are the king. And that's what is very, very important. See, you actually did not go to the fridge. But the moment you thought it of the mind, the physical body, in fact, psychology says the brain is not able to differentiate between a real event and an imaginary event. My simple humble request is the entire day अगर आप ये सोचोगे मेरा करियर का क्या होगा, मेरा शादी का क्या होगा, मेरा प्रोफेशन का क्या होगा, मेरा पढ़ाई का क्या होगा, मेरा पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन का क्या होगा, if you keep on thinking and create corresponding images, the brain would get the same signal and your brain would release a kind of stress hormones, right? It will create a lot of stress hormones which will generate bad cholesterol, and certainly cortisols also, which will reduce your immunity power. So just that is the power of the mind. Meditation helps us to make our mind a very good friend. My last part of the slide before I wind it up on time, the language of the mind is images. Okay, मन की जो भाषा वो चित्र होती है. And this is the early morning sunrise. After every night there is going to be a dawn. Whatever you're seeing across the society, the country and the whole world, but we are going towards a climax. It's a cosmic law, my dear friend. But after every night there is going to be a dawn. At least that single thought helps you. The last part of the slide, when I say my mind, the question is, who am I? Who am I? When any student appears for an interview after one's engineering or MBA, when he joins the industry, the last HR question is, two questions we ask from the HR. The first question we usually ask them is, please introduce yourself. And the second question we ask them is, please tell your strengths and weakness. These are standard two questions. And I've seen many of my engineering young boys and girls introducing oneself. Sir, my name is so-and-so, sir. I did my graduation from so-and-so college, sir. My projects were so-and-so. My hobbies are so-and-so. And sir, please give me so much of salary also. Correct? But the question is, why do we ask this particular question? Many of my students feel that we are checking their communication skills. हम ये देखने की कोशिश करते हैं कि आपका language कैसा है. And I'm very happy that the new education policy speaks about कि आप अपना education आप अपनी मातृभाषा में कर सकते हो. I really appreciate this answer. I really appreciate this particular rule. Yes, it should be done like that. All technologically advanced countries, if you see, right from Germany to France to Japan to China, they have their education in their own mother tongue. The challenge I face with my engineering students in Mumbai is many of the students, they feel that speaking English is one of the greatest challenges because they may come from the outskirts of Mumbai. But the moment you say you can study in whatever language you want, including your mother language, it releases them for so much of stress to remember and recall and understand that vocabulary. Correct? Usually, we are not there to check your communication skills. Yes, if some engineer is there, if he is there from Gujarati, when he speaks English, uska thoda sa Gujarati slang hoga. If a boy from Andhra speaks English, thoda sa uska Telugu ka bahut pyara sa flavor dikhai dega. If a Gujarati or a Punjabi, if a South Indian speaks, you may have a flavor of English. Then why are we asking that question? We are asking that question is because when you introduce yourself, हर व्यक्ति के प्रति एक image होता है. Right? Abhi was very happy to introduce Swaminathan. Ye kiya, itna police forces mein gaya. Correct? He was actually, you know what Abhi was trying to do? He was trying to market Swaminathan. We have got a faculty like Swaminathan, please attend. So he was actually branding me. He was actually marketing me. Thanks Abhi for doing that. But when Swaminathan is all alone, I can fool the whole world with all these qualifications. But Swaminathan cannot fool Swaminathan. And therefore, the second question, what is your strengths and what is your weakness? Right? I know some of my strengths could be XYZ, but I also have many of my weakness. Correct? And one of the best answers which I like is, my mind was once upon a time a very great strength. आज मैं अपने मन को ही manage नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, तो मैं अपने life को कैसे manage करूँ? Therefore, my dear friends, we teachers and parents right from childhood has been telling you, you should have a lot of self-confidence, self-motivation, self-control, self-esteem, self-discipline. लेकिन self क्या है ये आज तक नहीं बताया. And I'm very happy that just like you are a student, I am also a student. Yes, I'm a professor of engineering, MBA, PhD. But the best qualification which I like, which Abhi missed it out, was I'm also a student studying spiritual laws in a very beautiful organization of the Brahmakumaris Ishwariya Vishwavidyalaya. And 26 years before, when I walked down to the Brahmakumaris center, the best thing about Brahmakumaris is all its programs, seminars, workshops, teachings is absolutely free of cost. And the first day when I entered the meditation center of Brahmakumaris here in Kandivali, Mumbai, I was told that Swaminathan, what you see is not the reality. You're different from it, right? I will show you a small picture, okay? And then I'll wind up my session. I'll try to keep it on time. But one of the cosmic law which I love to understand is a small movie which many of you might have seen. And this I want you to remember always. This will help you. This image will certainly help you, my dear friends. This movie is a very wonderful movie. It's Tare Zameen Par. And you know, from a disease which is called as, you know, dyslexia. B ka D ho jata hai, F ka G ho jata hai. Now when he's put up in a boarding school, so एक बहुत प्यारा है जब उनके हिंदी टीचर उनके साथ इंटरेक्ट करते हैं. Let's watch this part of the movie.
जगह यहाँ मेरी आंखों के ठीक सामने राजन दामोदरन की बगल में राजन दामोदरन कक्षा में प्रथम आता है. राजन दामोदरन की संगत का तुम पर अच्छा परिणाम हो ऐसी अपेक्षा करता हूं. समझ गए? बैठ जाओ. हाँ. कविता पठन और व्याख्यान आज का विषय 28वां पन्ना दृष्टिकोण.
Drishtikon means the way we look at our life. Okay. The movie is in Hindi, but I'll try to translate that in English. Okay.
राजन दामोदरन, आप कविता पाठ करोगे और ईशानंद किशोर अवस्थी आप कविता का अर्थ समझाओगे.
He asked Rajan to read that part of the poem and Ishan has to explain that poem, right?
ठीक है, शुरू करो राजन.
दृष्टिकोण. ऊपर से देखूं तो है खुला आसमान, चाय पीने को हाथ दिखाए ये मेरी माटी, या तुझ पे तो दिखे है पानी सी नदी, तू तो है तू अपनी प्यारी सी नदी.
बहुत अच्छे. हाँ तो ईशानंद किशोर अवस्थी कविता का अर्थ समझाओ.
Now Ishan, who is suffering from dyslexia, gives a beautiful definition, you know.
जो दिखता है हमको लगता है और जो नहीं दिखता हमको लगता है नहीं है. लेकिन कभी कभी जो दिखता है वो नहीं होता और जो नहीं दिखता वो होता है. मतलब
अरे क्या दिखता है नहीं दिखता है कर रहे हो?
That's a very wonderful answer that Ishan gives. जो दिखता है हमको लगता है, जो नहीं दिखता हमको लगता नहीं है, जो दिखता है वो नहीं होता है और जो नहीं दिखता है वो होता है. I'll say in English and I'll request Dr. Jaisimha sir to translate that in the sweet language of Telugu also. What Ishan is trying to explain is, what we are able to see from our eyes is not the reality. What we are not able to see from this physical eyes is actually the reality. And this is the cosmic law. And this is the spiritual law. Jaisimha sir, can you please translate that in Telugu?
Yeah. మేము కళ్ళతో చూస్తామో అది నిజం కాదు. అది మేము ఏదైతే మనసులో చూస్తామో అది నిజము. అది సత్యం.
Absolutely right. 26 years before, when I joined the Brahmakumaris, I was taught this. We always associate with a physical consciousness. My name, my age, my caste, my creed, my gender, my religion. But we have to shift from this soil consciousness to the self-consciousness. That I'm different from this body. A point of light, a point of energy situated in the center of the forehead. Some people call it as a Atma, some people call it as a soul, some people call it as a Ruh. In the language of physics, it is called as an energy. And the language of quantum mechanics, it is called as quanta. My dear young friends, whatever problems that we are seeing across the globe, right, there's lots of diversity. And what we are seeing is we always associate ourselves. The moment you see in the media something is happening, I get associated because what I see is external. I think education should focus from an external to the most important, the internal one. And you know, when I understand self-confidence, it is called as Atma Vishwas. So today I'll explain to you what exactly is the self and then wind up my session, okay? S-E-L-F, the full form of self is, okay? In this post-pandemic, pre-pandemic situation, whenever we used to see anybody, we used to ask, how are you? But post-pandemic, because we wear masks, we don't ask the question, how are you? We ask the question, who are you? Who are you? And this is what is very, very important. The full form of self is SELF. It is a source of energy in light form. We are basically all light. We are basically all energy. And the fighting across the globe that is happening in the name of caste, creed, gender, religion, countries can be reduced if we have this shift of consciousness. And therefore Brahmakumaris does this particular wisdom all across the globe. Even when the Russia and Ukraine was fighting, we have more than 15 centers in Ukraine, and the members of the Brahmakumaris has to be shifted from that particular place. But still, we are trying to spread these vibrations of peace and love. So integrity is an integration of the body, the mind, and the soul. The body, the mind, and the spirit. This has to be done, that integration part of it. So my simple, humble request, because I've got 4 to 5 minutes with you, as the entire day you should be very, very happy. And the moment your parents see you in a lot of happy state of situation, they will ask you, why you are so happy? तो आप अपने मम्मी डैडी को बोलना, today I understood who am I. तो मम्मा पूछेगी, बेटा आप कौन हो? तो बड़े मुस्कुराते हुए कहना, तारे जमीन पर. Because today in this world, everybody wants to become a star. Young boys and girls also wants to become a star. You take a selfie and you send to the whole world, and then you ask, देखा क्या, मेरा फोटो देखा क्या, सेल्फी देखा क्या, ताकि सखी के yes, I've seen it. तो like करो ना. When you start liking yourself, when you start loving yourself. So I request all my young friends, when you are there in the mirror in front of you, आप जो हो जैसे हो, बहुत सुंदर हो, बहुत प्यारे हो. And the summary of my today's session is, ये वाला फोटो आप जरूर देखना, and then we'll wind up today's session with a small nursery rhyme. Yes, I am a twinkle, twinkle, little star. I am a twinkle, twinkle, little star. Right? And how I wonder what you are. I am a star, लेकिन आप कैसे हो? ये who कौन है? The Almighty God. भगवान मैं तो तारे जमीन पर हूं. भगवान आप कहां पर हो? आप कैसे हो? Up above the world, so high, like a diamond in the sky. Vidya, when we were speaking about Raj Yoga meditation, the essence of Raj Yoga meditation is taught. All of us have learned when we were pre-primary class. बस उसको practical में जरूर लेकर आना है. So it was a great pleasure interacting with all of you, my dear young friends. May all of you be blessed with lots of health, wealth, happiness, and lots of success. Right? आप तारे जमीन पर हो, हमेशा सफलता और खुशी आपका जन्म सिद्ध अधिकार बनेगा. इसी शुभ भावना के साथ we will do a 2 minutes of meditation. And what I'm going to do in this 2 minutes of meditation, just play you the nursery rhyme. That's the only understanding it. Because when we were moving to the third COVID state, so the government of India and the Niti Aayog said कि, the third stage is going to hit children. तो सबने पूछा भाई अगर बच्चे को hit कर रहा है तो हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? तो मैंने उनको कहा कि we should teach them the technique of meditation. तो बोला सर बड़ों को तो मेडिटेशन समझ में नहीं आता, छोटे बच्चे मेडिटेशन कैसे सीखेंगे? मैंने कहा बस अकेले भी घर पे बैठे हो ना तो बस नर्सरी राइम गाते रहो, आपकी इम्यूनिटी इतनी स्ट्रांग हो जाएगी. So I'll play this nursery rhyme which we actually created when the world was moving towards the third stage, and when the government told that it's going to hit children. At that time we created this particular video. Thank you very much. Please watch this video, and I want you to listen to the video very carefully. Give me 1 minute time. Yeah, it's a beautiful song. Yeah, it's there. Listen to it very carefully once again. What is this girl trying to teach us?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. I am the driver and this body is my car.
Yes, I am the driver and this body is my vehicle. It's my car.
Shine bright, and my father is the supreme
So thank you very much. So just remember that I'm a twinkle, twinkle little star. We are all twinkle, twinkle little stars. Very peaceful, very loveful, very joyful, and certainly very, very powerful. So once again, on behalf of the Jurists wing of the Brahmakumaris, my sincere appreciation to the Honorable Principal Sir, and certainly Jyoti Madam, who has been coordinating with Swaminathan. आप सभी का बहुत बहुत दिल से धन्यवाद देते हुए एक हिंदी में बात बताऊंगा, and I request Jaisimha sir if you can translate that in Telugu. मुझे ये शायरी बहुत अच्छी लगती है. आसमान में इतने सितारे हो कि बादल दिखाई ना दे. आसमान में, आसमान इज द स्काई, इतने सितारे हो कि बादल दिखाई ना दे. बादल इज द क्लाउड्स, यू नो. आसमान में इतने सितारे हो कि बादल दिखाई ना दे. बच्चों, आपके जीवन में इतनी खुशियां आए कि तनाव दिखाई ना दे, तनाव दिखाई ना दे. थैंक यू वेरी मच. ओम शांति. हैव अ वेरी वंडरफुल ब्यूटीफुल डे अहेड. थैंक यू.
Thank you,
Sir,
Dr.
1 minute. Let Jaisimha sir translate that in Telugu.
ఆకాశంలో అంత నక్షత్రాలే ఉన్నని మబ్బులు ఉండకూడదు అని. అలాగే మీ జీవితంలో అంతా సంతోషంగా ఉండి ఎక్కడ కూడా మీరు దుఃఖంగా ఉండడం కనపడకూడదు.
Jaisimha sir, अगर हम लोग बार-बार ऐसे ट्रांसलेट ऐसे मिलते रहेंगे ना, तो I will also your sweet language of Telugu, sir. Okay.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Thank you. It is sharp 12 o'clock. I am very happy I was able to finish it on time. Over to you, Dr. Supriya ji.
Thank you, Dr. Swaminathan, sir, for your motivational speech, which really helped all of us to cope up from the pandemic effect. Thank you, sir. May I now call upon Mr. Vinay Lopur, final year LLB student of B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi, to welcome Justice V. Ishwariya, former judge of High Court of Andhra Pradesh. Over to you, Vinay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Vinay Kumar Lokur, final year law student. It is my privilege to introduce the son for today's session, Honorable Shri Justice K.L.E.Society, sir. Sir was born on 10th March 1951 at Nemeli Kalva village, Valigonda Mandal, Nalgonda district of Andhra Pradesh. Sir completed his schooling at Valigonda up to SSC and intermediate in Junior College, Ramanpet. Bachelor's in Science from City Science College at Hyderabad and did law from Law College of Osmania University. Enrolled as an advocate in 1978. Practiced as criminal lawyer mainly in High Court and Civil Court in Hyderabad and handled several civil, criminal and constitutional matters. Sir worked as government leader for 5 years from January 1990 to December 1994 and was standing counsel for Andhra Pradesh Dairy Development Corporation Limited and Nalgonda District Cooperative Central Bank. Sir was also an advisor to Mother Teresa's Charity Secunderabad. On 17th May 1999, Sir was appointed as additional judge of Andhra Pradesh High Court. Later, Sir was appointed as judge of Andhra Pradesh High Court on 20th April 2000. And on 20th April, Sir was appointed to perform the duties of Office of the Chief Justice High Court of Andhra Pradesh and was appointed to perform the duties of the Office of Chief Justice High Court of Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad with effect from 8th March 2013 and retired as such on attending superannuation on afternoon 9th March 2013. Government of India appointed Sir as the chairperson of the National Commission for Backward Classes on 23rd September 2013. Here I present before you all Justice K.L.E.Society, sir. I request you, sir, to take over the session from here.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. All of you, I am very happy to hear brother E.V. Swaminathan Bhai on the subject, the post-pandemic challenges for learning communities. And I am very happy to see the Honorable Justice Prajapita and who is hearing, and Mr. Jaisimha, who is responsible for having this wonderful national webinar, and Sister Rashmi Ohajaji and B.K. Vidya Bahan and the Jyoti Hiramate, then will be saying vote of thanks, and the Mr. Jayasima really is very keen to organize such a webinar. I wonder when Swaminathan time and again saying in Telugu, I think most of the listeners are the Kannada knowing people more than the Telugu people. Is it Jayasima? They are more. They are.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
No,
In fact, I got an input that you should speak something in Kannada also. So I understand that Kannada also, sir. Yes, sir.
Because Telugu, when Swaminathan was time and again trying, asking to translate, I was wondering because all of them are Canadians, not
Sorry.
No, sir. Actually, while we opened the session, I heard some of the audience speaking in Telugu. So I thought that my state people are also joined since it is a national level webinar. So I expressed my gratitude that welcoming my state people like this. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, otherwise, most of them are their mother tongue is Kannada only, second language Telugu, and then Hindi, English. Then I will now. I am also connected. I am also connected with the higher education in Andhra Pradesh. Therefore, I will take in 2 or 3 phases. That is, I will touch the legal profession post-pandemic challenges and opportunities also. But prior to that, Sister Rashmi Oja will be speaking, and Swaminathan generally he has addressed all such professionals. But one thing I should say before forgetting, Swaminathan is very lucky person because he is not a law graduate, and he is not a liar, and he is not a anyadish, and he is not the anyalai work, never. Therefore, he is very lucky to choose the engineering profession, so that he is being protected and he is being always connected with the Creator, the Supreme Being. But unfortunately, we are all connected in this iron age with the law subject. And I am now a chairperson, Andhra Pradesh Higher Education Regulatory Monitoring Commission. Then I have been seeing the post-pandemic, the challenges, the post-pandemic challenges is innumerable. The complaints I have been receiving from the students, from the faculty. I am happy maybe B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi, K.L.E.Society, which is running the society. Maybe they are running very on legal, moral, ethical basis, encouraging the faculty and the students. But insofar as my state is concerned, the number of complaints I am getting that the faculty, because of the pandemic, they were not teaching at all. Then to develop the technology to teach online, it took some time. Then most of the faculty have been discontinued. So it has become very unemployment for the faculty members also. The students are not being taught properly, but fees have been collected regularly. So this kind of the complaints also I have been receiving. But unfortunately, because of the virtual teaching only, they were not having any opportunity to have the internship in a law firm and do the practicals by going to the civil court and the high courts to learn practically about this legal education. So that kind of the challenges it was there, even for the legal professionals, but everything was on online. Then software, everything has been developed, but every case used to be then loaded on the software. Then this high court only used to get the printouts and they used to supply the briefs to the high court judges. But it's a advocate's profession has suffered a lot because of the pandemic. The teachers, the students and the young lawyers and have suffered more, are the mostly affected persons of this pandemic. And insofar as the Supreme Court lawyers are concerned, they are merely enjoying. Even though they were appearing from the London or Bombay or somewhere foreign country, they have not reduced their fees. Then they have not reduced the fees. They were very easily appearing online from the, for example, Ari Salve, he used to appear from the London, he used to charge the same amount of the fee. But the juniors have lost, the technicians have lost the income, and the even quality is not maintained either in education or in the justice delivery system to maintain the quality of the law enforcing agencies also. So therefore, the pandemic has hampered the legal, the profession and the legal education like anything. So that is the, for example, then now there is some good benefits also have been taken. For example, so then they used to pay the court fee online only. Then then service of the notice online only. Then submission of the brief online only. The arguments also online only. But while advancing the arguments, they used to permit the number of the advocates only. Suppose more number of advocates enter into the room, then it will not function. The software will not function. So sometimes there was any amount, the quality of whether it's a WebEx or a webinar or whatever it may be instrument, that quality was not perfect in the initial stages. Thereafter, they were able to develop the software a little better. And even now, even after filing the cases online also, then they have to file again hard copies now. Now the system has been hampered like anything. You take it whether the law colleges or the law enforcing agencies or the justice delivery system of the civil court and high court also. System has been empowered to set right. I think it will take much more time. And the cases are not systematically arranged. Files are not traceable. And the cases are not posted timely. And the urgent cases, if the family matters, no counseling, family matters could not be settled. And family cases have been increased because of the pandemic, because husband and wife used to work somewhere during the pre-pandemic. And because there was no having work, then any number of the domestic problems have been arisen because both husband and wife children used to stay in the houses only. Therefore, the family issues have developed like anything because the Swaminathan may keep in view, these things also will keep in view. These are practical things which I have aggravated the people have lost the peace, lost the tranquility, and developed some problems. So these are the post-pandemic the challenges. But one thing, as Brother Swaminathan says, I was knowing a judge. That judge, he did his law, but he never joined any senior office. After learning, after getting the law degree and after enrolling, he went to the civil court and sat in a record room, and he studied whole one case completely from the beginning to the end. That is how the plate is prepared, then how the written statement, what are the steps to be taken, how the written statement is prepared, then how the issues were framed, then what is the evidence has been used, then how arguments issues were decided, how arguments were advanced, then what is the judgment. After judging, after getting the judgment, then the major task will be how to get it implemented. Then it's the same case, he has taken one bundle, how it was executed. Then it's a laborious process to get execution of a decree in the civil court. Then he has studied a whole thing, how the judgment will be implemented, executed. So that's how he has learned by sitting in the library only, the record room only. He became a famous lawyer and a famous judge and a chief justice also. So that's how, as Swaminathan was saying, then you should have any amount of the confidence, any amount of the vision, any amount of This thing depends upon each and every individual student only, but he cannot find fault. What I am pointing out, he cannot find fault with the teachers, with the institution, with the professors, with the senior, with the justice delivery court system. But by human being is not powerless. He got any amount of power to overcome any challenge, any situation. Therefore, then my sincere advice maybe to the many of the law students is there is no shortcut. Then you have to then work hard. Then you should be industrious, and you should be dedicated, devote, and you should devote a whole of your time to come up. Because once you have chosen the law profession, and Justice Prajapita knows how much struggle the as an advocate, as a civil judge, as an high court judge has to undergo it. It's not easy, but it's a bed of initially it will be a bed of thorns. Then later on it will be a bed of roses only. Then once you come up, once you master it, then automatically you will have a lucrative profession. You will have a flourishing profession. But unfortunately, nowadays, the students, they waste their time. They just spend on the chit-chatting. They spend with the friends and how to kill the time. They go to the hotels. They get to the, just a lot of the time they waste in the corridors. Even the advocates also. They don't sit and hear, observe keenly, learn. Then they don't read the Supreme Court law journals, the High Court law journals. Just they go on then wasting their time because they are not earning. Their father or their parents are earning, and they are spending only with a view that to earn the money ultimately. But the success in the legal profession is only 10%. Not everybody will not succeed. It depends upon so many factors. Therefore, to become a successful lawyer or to become a judicial officer or a higher judicial judge, then you should have the vision, and you should have that aim, and to reach that target and to reach that level, then relentlessly you have to work. But at the same time, you can enjoy your life, as Swaminathan says, because you have to empower yourself, and you have to rejuvenate yourself, and you have to feed yourself. Then then every day you have to charge yourself. Then only you will be able to overcome all the challenges, and then really not only you will overcome all the challenges, it's a great opportunity for you to be a lawyer, to be a jurist, to be a person in justice delivery system. Therefore, now as we know it, that this country is led by the lawyers only. During the period of the independence, the independent movement has been led by the lawyers. Mahatma Gandhi was a lawyer, Nehru was a lawyer. Most of the freedom fighters were the lawyers. Then even till today also, because the judiciary is the ultimately, under the constitution, the legislation makes the law, executive executes the law, that is administration, then judiciary, then administrative decisions will be reviewed by the judiciary. Therefore, ultimately the judiciary at the top level, because it can struck down the law made by the parliament or the legislation. And if that law made by the legislation is not properly implemented by the administration, and you can review that administrative decision, you can set right, and you can deliver the judgment. Therefore, the judiciary is at the top when you compare to the executive and the legislation. Therefore, today judiciary has become very powerful nowadays. And one drawbacks also I would like to say, but every lawyer, every judges, he is had they learnt about the spiritual knowledge, about the cosmic knowledge, about these the spirituality, then Indian judiciary would not have been like this. Today, Swaminathan may not be knowing, Honorable Justice Prajapita knows what I, because why I have stated that the liars have become liars, Nyayadis have become Anyayadis, Nyayalaya have become Anyayalaya. Why this situation today? The justice is being purchased. Justice is being, no common man is not being getting any justice. Even law enforcement agencies also. Police doesn't investigate properly. Police is influenced by the muscle power, political power, and they spoil the case. And to set right that case, it is not also possible for the lawyers or the judges also. Even the judges have not come from the sky or from heaven or anybody. Lawyers having been practiced for 18-20 years, High Court judges. For civil court judges, 7 years. What kind of practice? They have indulged all kind of illegalities. They have tried to support the injustice, protected the criminals, rapists, dacoities, and unrighteous, only negative side only they have practiced. Once they become the High Court judges, how do you think that, how do you imagine that this High Court judge will be impartial, will be neutral, will not be influenced by anything? How do you think that? Recently, if you surprise Brother Swaminathan, the former Chief Justice of India, Mr. Ranjan Gogoi, and it is available on the maybe Google also. When he was interviewed, he said, "What do you say about the corruption?" He said, "Corruption has become the part of life. Judges are not alien. Judges are part of the society." He confessed that the judicial corruption as a part of life of the judges also. So if the former Chief Justice of India, he spoken truth. He told the truth. But as long as they are in the judiciary, they do all kind of the things. But once they go out of the post and position, they retire, they admit it. But when they are when they are in the position, when they are in the seat, when they are in the post, but nowadays, I don't know. Suppose if there is some other court over and above the Supreme Court, 50% of the judgments will be reversed. And we know the Indians, lawyers know it, clients know it, how much heartburning for the restlessness, for the peacelessness, for the anarchy, for this kind of this thing, instead of then helping the society, upholding the rule of law, the judiciary is disturbing, and it is becoming one of the cause for lawlessness and for heartburning, for the peacelessness. Because we know, Justice Prajapita and I also know it, what kind of a situation it is there in the judiciary. Therefore, we are very fortunate, myself and Justice Prajapita very fortunate by the grace of God, because we are the children of the Supreme Being and we follow the Brahmakumaris. We delivered our judgments without fear or fear, without any prejudice and without any influence. And by the grace of God, we are able to come out of that very testing in the field of the justice delivery system. But today, when we hear that there is no faithful, there is no regard, there is no money only place and influence only place. Every human being is selfish. What is that? I will get it. Suppose Justice Prajapita has helped a person to become a High Court judge. That High Court judge is a friend of the Supreme Court judge. And the Supreme Court judge doesn't like Prajapita. And the judge who has become with the help of Prajapita, he will harm Prajapita and pamper the Supreme Court judge. Why this kind of the character? Because people doesn't have any favor. He need not help it, but he cannot harm it. So for the purpose of the selfish thing to climb the steps, and to elevate much more levels. Everybody is stooping down to any level, whether is a politician, whether it's even every individual also. Every individual, so much of the degradation of the character, the moral, and the ethics. And therefore, we used to say once upon a time that the character is money is last, nothing is last. Health is last, something is last. Money is last, nothing is last. But nowadays, suppose then character is last, everything last. But nowadays, character is last, nothing last. Money, health is last, something is last. Money is last, everything is last. So now this kind of the total reverse way. Today, nowadays, total reverse way. Money, the dhanam moolam vidham jagat. Though the entire world is running based on the wealth and the money, the materialistic post positions and wealth and health only. So thank you. I may not be able to take the much of the time, Mr. Jayasima. So any questions our people says, and if I request the Pachapure also contributes on this subject, it will be most beneficial for many of them. Therefore, you can also then request Justice Pachapure also to continue and to take some more time. Therefore, I am like to discontinue from here, but I will be available to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Justice Sir, for your kind words of wisdom. May I now call upon Ms. Pratima Shipurkar.
Wait,
One minute,
Chandni.
Any questions from participants? Can
yes.
ask any? There are any questions as to
Swaminathan Bhai also and Ishwariya sir also. We can take up their question answers.
Any questions?
I think we have some questions.
Because still there is a 10 minutes time. Rashmi ma'am will be joining us. So we can take up this question answer session.
In the meantime, may I kindly request Honorable Justice Pachapure sir, can you kindly throw some insights, your insights into the what would be the role of the stakeholders in the coming days when they enter into legal profession? Because we have seen that for the last 2 years the courts were online, and we have seen that the advocates sitting at home and participating in the deliberations they have, and of course the technology has come to a lot of rescue for the litigants, so that the justice delivery system could continue. The justice could be brought to those who are in need of it. But still, at some point of time, we thought that still it could have been how it could be in the next generation, when the present generation of law students, when they come out of the law colleges. Your insights. Reward you, Justice.
Mr. Jayasima, thankful to you for an opportunity for me to speak few words. I think, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes,
yes,
brother. You are audible, sir.
Brother Justice Ishwariya, very happy to hear your speech today. After a long lapse of time, we are online meeting together. So far as the problems are concerned, the problems will be there forever. You see, it is not that the COVID came, it went away, and that there will not be problems anywhere in future. So the problems will be there, and solving the problems is the life. And the best way to solve the problems is to apply the mind logically and see, accept that there is such a problem in our life, and to find out the ways as to how to overcome them. So for the last 2 years, you see online classes, online speeches, and everything was online. And it makes a lot of difference between a hearing online and hearing offline. So there will be a lot of gap in between the students and the professor when he is teaching a subject of law online. So this gap, you see, creates some sort of problem in the mind to understand the law. But anyhow, this problem we have overcome now, and the offline classes are now being conducted, and it is necessary for the students to take a lot of interest to see that you see the law which has been taught to them in the last 2 years is reviewed, and the students must see look into that law which they have studied in the past, find out the decisions relating to, appreciate the law and understand it on their own. So that could be the only way, because when a problem comes, to see, instead of getting a fear or being scared of the problems that we are facing, is not the solution. Really, we have to accept the things as they are. So the COVID was there for the last 2 years. There are some problems. Accept this thing and find out the best way to get over the problem. So now you see, is for the students and also the professors to review the subject, you see, that they have taught in the last 2 years, at least by taking extra classes in future, so that you see they can be, the students can be balanced, and they could continue with the next classes of their law subject. I think that is the only way. And as told by brother Mr. Swaminathan, I think meditation is the best way to silence the mind. Meditation, in case it is Raja Yoga or meditation that you see, if we do it every day in the morning, the mind opens in such a way that it could take everything easily and make us to understand the problems and to solve the problems in due course of time. So 1 hour's meditation every day could be the best solution to the problems that any student, any professor, or any person on the earth is facing. See, that's my opinion. And so far as my experience of this COVID for the last 2 years is concerned, I think I was the happiest man, because there was so much of rest for me. And maximum time, you see, I used to be doing this pranayama, meditation, and going to my land, seeing the sceneries, see the greeneries and all these things, and enjoyed the life, you see, to the maximum in these 2 years of COVID. So ultimately, if we accept the problem, we can find the way, the other ways, and you see, follow those ways and get out of the problem and be happy. See, happiness is the ultimate goal of every individual, and happiness is purely a concept of mind. So that's what I feel, that you see, meditation is the best way to overcome all the problems. And Raja Yoga, you see, our sister Vidya has stated about the Raja Yoga. And better attend these centers, those students can attend the centers, they can learn Raja Yoga and also continue the meditation in their home, and then see, complete their education and start with their profession. I think this would be the solution for the problems that have arisen in the last 2 years. Thank you for the opportunity for me to speak few words.
Sir, while listening to Justice Ishwariya and also Justice Prajapita sir, a thought came to my mind, because I received a small message from one of my friends last night. It says, it goes like this, sir. When there is a solution to a problem, you seek the solution. But if there is no solution to any problem, we should accept it as a truth. What is accept the truth.
If the sun does not rise in the morning, what I or we can do? Except that, you see, there is no morning in the day today.
So thank you very much for that wonderful insights into the topic. We look forward to have you both here at Belagavi in person once, because I still remember, sir, a few years ago we had a offline session where Justice Chivraj Patil was there and Justice Pinto was there, and I had an opportunity to share the days and deliberate on a topic that administration of justice. The role of courts. I had an opportunity to share the days with likes of Justice Ishwariya sir, because I remember though I have no personal contact with him, but when I was practicing in Andhra Pradesh for some time, I used to see Justice Ishwariya sir both as a lawyer and then see him as elevated to the bench, and thereafter I shifted myself to academics. It's a very nice of you, sir, that you both have joined today. Very kind of you, and Om Shanti. Sir.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Yes. What you, Chandra?
Yeah. Within 5 minutes, just a minute. Within 5 minutes, Rashmi madam will join all of us. Till that, we'll take one question from the students. Chandni, over to you.
Madam, I have joined.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Yeah, we are eagerly waiting for you.
Om
Okay,
Shanti.
so
Om Shanti.
Chandni, we will
Namaste.
start with
Namaste,
madam's
madam.
session
Yes,
only.
ma'am. Jai Simhan.
Yes, ma'am. We'll start. Now I call upon Ms. Pratima Shipurkar, final year LLB student of B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi, to welcome Dr. Rashmi M. Oza, Chair Professor, Justice, Changla Chair, Department of Law, University of Mumbai, and Principal, Chembur, Karnataka College of Law, Mumbai. Over to you, Pratima.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Pratima Shipurkar, final year law student. I take great pleasure to introduce the resource person for today's session, Dr. Rashmi M. Oza. Dr. Rashmi M. Oza ma'am is recipient of gold medal for securing first class first in Master of Law degree from Mumbai University. Ma'am has pursued her postgraduate diploma in human rights from University of Mumbai. Ma'am has been conferred doctorate degree on topic of human rights and gender inequalities in India by Mumbai University. Ma'am is former head and professor, Department of Law, Mumbai University, and former IC Dean, Interdisciplinary Studies in University of Mumbai. Ma'am is currently principal of Chembur, Karnataka College of Law, Chembur, Mumbai, and IC Professor of Chief Justice MC Chagla Chair, established in the Department of Law, University of Mumbai. Ma'am is member of few academic committees and Chancellor's nominee at National Level Law University, Odisha. Ma'am is member of Research and Recognition Committee at Symbiosis International University. Ma'am practiced in Bombay High Court as an advocate and senior central government counsel for about 12 years and was simultaneously teaching various legal subjects at K.L.E. Law College, Mumbai. In March 2003, ma'am has been awarded International Diploma in Human Rights with distinction by the Royal Wellenberg Institute of Human Rights and Humanitarian Law, Sweden. In February 2011, ma'am presented paper on state accountability under international human rights, grim realities of India, in the conference organized by Delhi University, and paper on India's reservation to CEDAW and impediments to women's human rights at National Level Conference on Human Rights, organized by Department of Civics and Politics, University of Mumbai. Ma'am has also presented many more papers at national and international levels. In May 2012, ma'am was conferred with Shiksha Ratan Puraskar, conferred by the India International Society, New Delhi, for her outstanding achievement in the field of education. In April 2013, ma'am shared a session at International Conference on Human Rights Law, Justice and Governance, organized by School of Legal Studies, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Central University, Lucknow. Dr. Oza ma'am is chairperson of a registered NGO, Human Rights Action Group India, and conducting awareness programs in human rights, and she is also associated with various social organizations working for the cause of underprivileged and vulnerable sections of the society, especially women and children. Dr. Oza ma'am is national coordinator and life member of Jurists wing of Brahmakumaris since 1990. She is a resource person for Jurists conference held in various parts of India, and also for refresher and orientation courses for teachers conducted by University Grants Commission. Here I present before you all Dr. Rashmi Oza ma'am. I request you to take over the session, ma'am.
Thanks for a very generous introduction, Madam. Jyoti ma'am, may I start? Because my time schedule, the time.
Yes, ma'am. We all preponed. Yeah. You can start, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, most revered Justice Ishwariya sir, Honorable Justice Pashapure, sir, I'm so glad to see sir because I wasn't aware and I'm so glad to see him on screen. Our brother E.V. Swaminathan, revered principal of the B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi, Professor Dr. Jyoti, Brahmakumari sister Lata Ben, Brahmakumari sister Vidya Ben, all the faculties of Law College and dear students, Om Shanti and a very good afternoon to one and all. I'm indeed privileged to have been invited to express my views on effect of COVID-19 pandemic on legal education, issues and challenges vis-a-vis the role of teachers. I consider myself as privileged because Mumbai was the most affected area. Maharashtra was the most affected state, when it started with this pandemic situation. With regard to the role of teachers, the multiple role that teacher plays in the society, it strikes me of placing before you all two true stories. One is of Catherine, who was the wife of a jail warden, and it is a story of 1930 a story of 1930 at Sing Sing prison, where the prisoners who were kept there were hardened or incorrigible prisoners as such. They had to either undergo life sentence all throughout their life, or they were awaiting execution of death sentence or capital punishment. So when they were undergoing their imprisonment, they were all under the care of the wife of jail warden, that's the Catherine, and and it so happened that one day, all of a sudden, in an accident, Miss Catherine lost her life, and all these hardened or incorrigible criminals were very saddened, and they were literally into their tears because they were being regularly coached by Catherine. They were being trained, they were being imparted values by Catherine, and they were literally in their tears, and they made a request to pay their last homage, to the last rites of Catherine. So they were granted permission to go and visit the place, which was a long distance away, without being handcuffed, without any surveillance, without any police constables around, but only with a condition that they would be returning sharp before 5 p.m. in the evening. So all of them agreed to the condition, and they all went, and they paid their last respect to Catherine, who had throughout, had a very compassionate and a humanitarian approach towards all these prisoners. Significantly sharp before 5 in the evening, all of them, without any exceptions, returned to the prisons to complete their sentence. An apt example of what role a teacher can play in the life of, whosoever a teacher coaches or whosoever a teacher teaches. The second it's a true example is of Chinese philosopher Confucius, who had trained number of students, with all his intellectual caliber as such. And he used to adopt a practice that every year after he would teach the student, on the last day of his teaching, he would assemble them in the assembly hall, and he would ask the students as to if they have any doubt or difficulty, they should get clarification today itself being the last day. There was one mischievous child in the classroom. He raised his hand and he said, "Sir, I have a question." So Confucius immediately said, "My dear child, what is the question in your mind?" The child said, "Please give me a minute." He ran outside the classroom. He climbed up a tree and he took a small sparrow in his palm, and he covered the other hand with the other palm as such. Immediately he entered the classroom, and he had decided that today I will The long years of, teaching and domination by a teacher is somewhere where something that I will be taking revenge today. So today I will prove my teacher to be wrong. So he kept that small little sparrow in his hand and covered it with the other palm. And then he said, "Sir, could you please tell me whether the little sparrow in my palms is dead or alive?" He had from within decided that the moment sir tells that it's dead, I will open up my palms and the sparrow will fly away. The moment he says that it is alive, I will squeeze it with both my palms. So in either of the case, my teacher will prove to be wrong. Confucius looked at the child, and he could guess the mischief that the child desired to play as against him. After about 1 minute silence, he told the child that, "Yes, I have an answer to your question." He said, "My dear child, the solution to your problem lies in your own palms." So look at it, how he could, in an artless art of repartee, tell the child that you desired some mischief, you desired to put me down. But, and in a very soft manner, he said, "Dear child, the solution to your question lies in your own hands." That means your own palms. This even teaches us a moral lesson that we are the creators of our problems, and we are the persons who can solve our problems. In context of COVID-19 pandemic, I have been an eyewitness in Mumbai with regard to how it has hampered the legal education as a whole, and how, were constrained to conduct online classes. That's for the first time when teachers were imparted training, in technology and conducting online classes. Subsequently, the directives came from the university with regard to hybrid mode of teaching. But situations, problems, some or the other keep coming. The solution lies in our own hand. I would like to, the role that a teacher can play, the role that a law school can play strikes me of a quote by Justice Felix Frankfurter in the year 1927. He was a prominent judge of the US Supreme Court, and I quote him, "The law is what a lawyers are, and the law and the lawyers are what the law schools make them." I unquote. Since past 2 years, COVID-19 pandemic has jolted the entire world, with humans learning profound lessons of major disasters or destructions. This has even impacted education as well seriously. And it again strikes me of an incident that, in such disasters or devastations, what is it that a man needs to look into? Or as a teacher, what is it that a teacher needs to train the student when it comes to such situations of destructions or major disasters as such? A person in a major devastating tragedy lost everything in his life. He was a very wealthy person. He was a very literate person. He was a very qualified person. He had his family. He had everything as such. So what is it that, he was lost? After having lost everything, people were wondering why did he feel happy of the, despite having lost everything in life. He and once posed a question by his friend that after having lost everything, what keeps you so happy? I'm making use of this word happy because yesterday was marked as the 20th of March is marked as an International Day of Happiness, and that's have been adopted by the United Nations through its resolution. So what is it that still keeps you so happy? In one sentence, the person who lost everything very passionately stated, "Yes, it's true that I've lost everything in this devastating tragedy, but I have found something which is exhilarating and uplifting. That is, I have found myself." So, finding out one's own self. Like the example given by Confucius, that he taught the student that you're the creator of your problem and you're the person who can find the best of best solution. 2 days back, the Supreme Court directed the Bar Council of India that the entire legal education needs to be revamped. There are many flaws within the legal education curriculum with regard to the UGC coming out with the new directives as such, the Bar Council of India imposing certain conditions as such. So nevertheless, I will focus my view from the perspective of legal education, legal ethics and moral values. I'm sure my previous esteemed speakers, Brother Swaminathan, Justice Ishwariya sir, Justice Prajapita sir, may have adequately spoken about values within the legal education as such. The legal ethics that we learn with a limited role, having a theoretical knowledge, and a significant role a teacher can play in legal education. I remember having read a few days back that the Bar Council of India came out with a report that about 40% of the practicing advocates are not qualified lawyers. So why is it that the things went unnoticed as such? Is it the law college or a law school or a law university which is to be blamed? Or is it they themselves posed as lawyers in the court of law, whereas factually they did not have even a law qualification as such? So where is morality and value within the society? Since the current webinar is conducted in collaboration with the Jurists wing of the Brahmakumaris, here is where we give greater significance to morality and values, and the same is equally applicable in the legal education and legal ethics as such. Undoubtedly, in the 21st century, we still decry the erosion of certain values which brings quality to life. So I, as a teacher, I've been a law teacher since past 32 years as such, on and off. In the course of teaching law to the students, often my mind revolves around and I try to, imbibe and I try to express my views with the students on some values, because teaching professional ethics is something which restricts to a legal education, whereas these are the values which brings quality to a person's life, and these are universally accepted values as such. It could be personal values, it could be moral or social values, it could be spiritual values which we try to learn being as a student of the Brahmakumaris as such. It could be behavioral values, how behavior impacts on a person's mind. A teacher may have exercised discrimination against few children, and that is what happened. And the matter reached right up to the Supreme Court in the US Supreme Court, and it has set precedents, all across the globe in the case of Brown versus Board of Education, where a dark-skinned little girl who was dark-skinned was made to sit separately from all the American white children as such, and the matter was challenged as ultra virus the US Constitution. And the judge, the then Chief Justice of the US Supreme Court, Justice Earl Warren, was highly touched. It is the moral values which were blend with the law, the US Constitution, and he set a judgment for the first time defining equality within the US Constitution, stating that there can't be inequalities on the basis of color of skin or what we term as racial discrimination. Undisputedly, in this 21st century, all would agree that we still decry the erosion of certain values in our life. So even during the COVID-19 pandemic situation, we have all experienced online classes. Just sometime back, about half an hour back, I was connected to Sister Nivedita University in West Bengal, and I was one of the main speaker at the webinar. 3 times, my internet failed and I had to connect myself through my mobile. So what have been our experiences during this COVID-19 pandemic, and what has been its effect on legal education? I'm sure even with regard to the education, legal education in specific as such, we have suffered a lot. We were constrained and we have experienced online classes, webinars, master classes as now being, and that's now become a normal routine as such. Even in imparting legal education, that was once conventional. When I was a student, it was in the classroom, and this was so even during the pre-COVID times as such. But how there has been a major transformation in legal education post COVID-19 pandemic as such. It was the 266th report of the Law Commission of India that has emphasized a dire need for maintenance of standards in legal education as seeds of nobility. So, if one needs to maintain the standard of legal education, the seeds of nobility needs to be, sown in as such. The nobility of the profession has to be sown at this stage itself when the students are taking training. How many of us duly, are true to ourselves and we have truly gone through these reports of the previous reports of the Law Commission of India? I think in the context of this COVID-19 pandemic situation, its effect and its impact on legal education, we need to look into this particular version of the 266th report of the Law Commission of India. However, this lockdown of COVID-19, it has shaken everywhere, both the legal profession as well as the legal education. And currently, technology has played an important role during this crucial time because it has connected each one of us. The court as well moved online, and the hearings were conducted online, and there also exists online dispute mechanisms. Arbitrations were conducted online, mediations, conciliations, and negotiations have also gone online. Hence, there is now a digital transformation in both legal profession as well as education. So though there are disadvantages in the form of, I gave you my own experience that it was just half an hour back. 3 times I was disconnected with the university which had hosted the program. On the other hand, there are huge masses of people in the society not having access to resources. So it is the children, it is the women, it is those who are in the remote area, it is the girl child who are not having access to these resources. Now, in such a situation, a law teacher plays a crucial role in fusing a student to change the mindset and learn technology that could help him be connected with the world. And I'm sure currently almost all the curriculums have imbibed technology as one of the important aspect, of the education as such, because the whole universe has now transformed into a digital transformation. It is this online platform that enables a student to get connected to classes and arguments addressed in the forum, like even the International Court of Justice, which had conducted online hearings and people were connected and located at Netherlands. The Supreme Court of India, significantly, I had never come across such a situation where we as normal citizens could also view at these online hearings which are conducted in the Supreme Court and High Court as such. Those were made open. It was just few days back, I happened to view a video clip that was made viral of a hearing which took place in the Karnataka High Court. And it was such a sudden situation, which went by way of a viral video to all of them, where a lawyer who attracted contempt of court and his license to practice further anymore, in future, was suspended for misleading the court by filing a flimsy petition. The prayers which were already adjudicated upon and were dismissed by the same court, and it is presumed that he deliberately did not bring it to the notice of the court. One can imagine a conventional way of teaching and a digital transformation as such, where a person can view even what are the arguments which are being addressed before the court and what is it that the court is seeking by way of explanation to the lawyers, by way of explanation from the lawyers for the purpose of delivering a viable judgment as such. Currently, the Karnataka High Court has also delivered a judgment on hijab, which is now a very debatable and hot issue all across the country. It's not just our country, but other countries as well. So if this be so, has it really played a positive role as such, or has it really, damaged the repute of a lawyer who had attracted contempt of court? I think this is a matter of consideration which we all need to focus our attention. The UGC has in its guidelines on examination and academic calendar in view of COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent lockdown. See, significantly, the UGC keeps on giving guidelines, sometimes lifting, those very guidelines which it had given there, delivered, directed before, sometimes sticking up to those guidelines, has emphasized the need of promoting online learning. In a college where I teach, it's also a linguistic minority, Chembur Karnataka College of Law, where all throughout 2 years we have been teaching online, and now it's made offline, and we are, by virtue of the directives by the University of Mumbai, we are now conducting a hybrid course as such. So they have suggested law schools and colleges to make a provision for virtual classrooms, video conferencing facilities, and training of faculties on these platforms, preparation of e-contents, and practice by faculty to complete their 25%, minimum 25% teaching through online mode in the post-COVID situation as well. Examinations are online, and in a professional course like law, where a student's analytical skills are being tested and evaluated as such, I have known students securing 100 out of 100. Now that's a major tragedy so far as law is concerned. The root question is, are we to look at the situation from the perspective of opportunity for students, or from the perspective of degradation of legal education? So opportunities, yes, a student learns digital, mandates as such. A student learns how to, be digital savvy as such. But at the same time, MCQs and just one sentence or 2 sentence descriptive answers, I'm sure it does cause a degradation in legal education. One of the essential component of legal education is clinical legal education, which actually, when I teach in the classroom, I tell my students it's community-based services by the students. Now, what has been the impact by the sudden closure of law schools and colleges during the COVID-19 pandemic as such? It has had an immense impact on the students' health, physical and mental health, education, job prospects as such, as physical interaction with the peer teammates and teaching learning process has been barred as such. With virtual teaching learning pedagogy, the practical oriented subjects like clinical legal education, moot courts, pre-trial litigation, mock trials, trial advocacy, and alternate disputes, ADR arbitrations took a backseat. Now, what has been the effect of COVID-19 pandemic? Even if the students desire to, under the supervision of a particular faculty as such, what has been its impact on clinical legal education, which is otherwise a community-based project as such? That is, I think, what one needs to emphasize on, because it has caused a consequent loss on those masses of people. I'm sure as law learners all would agree that it was the court who took the suo motu cognizance during the COVID-19 pandemic with regard to release of prisoners who attracted, a nominal lesser sentence of punishment had they been convicted. Specifically, so the under trial prisoners to be relieved, all with a view to look into and ensure that social distancing is maintained, that people who are affected by STDs or HIV/AIDS as such, they are kept in segregation as such, and they are not made to mingle with, and to enable them to take a proper training in safeguarding their own interests, their own lives. What is it that they have to do? They were released on just a personal bond without any financial security. The law schools and the clinical legal aid plays a prominent role in such situations by way of, they have gone even in the past to the prisons. They have gone to the remote areas where there are tribal people as such, and the situation, the disastrous situation of COVID-19 pandemic even affected their humanitarian services, like going to the prisons, going to the old age home, going to the elderly home, going to the palliative care homes as such, where patients are terminally ill, and consoling them as such. So all this has been drastically affected as such. So another setback was the closure of courts throughout the country, and law students also lost their opportunity to be interns either with the courts, the Supreme Court judges, the High Court judges, the National Human Rights Commissions, the corporate houses, the child homes, the old age homes, the prisons, and also being associated with lawyers during their summer internship as such. Now, there was no social outreach activities at all during this entire COVID-19 pandemic, and students in remote villages faced issue of technical glitches often. So even assuming that they had their mobiles, there had often been experiences of technical glitches as such, and almost all practical oriented skills turned to a Herculean task. On legal education, where now the emphasis as per the BCI directive has been on a practical oriented approach as such, there is hardly any possibility, though now I do come across some of the colleges and some of the universities conducting a virtual moot court as such. But what is the significance of this virtual moot court, and what is its efficacy in the context of a personal hearing, offline hearing that takes place in the court? I think that is a matter which deserves a special concern. A book titled Judiciary, Judges and Administration of Justice, which was authored by former Supreme Court Judge Justice R. Bhanumati, was launched by the former Chief Justice of India, Supreme Court of India, Justice S.A. Bobde. And he had made a significant statement that the COVID-19 pandemic would present a huge pendency of cases in the court, and a lot of emphasis has been placed on utilizing mediation for resolving many of these matters. This is the time when a lot of emphasis has to be placed on utilizing mediation, pre-litigation and post-litigation mediation to resolve these matters. He said that I'm not suggesting that every matter can be, but when the pandemic goes away and the lockdowns are lifted, we are going to face a flood of cases, which I do not know how we are going to decide if we go in a usual way of following the detailed procedure. And this is something which all of us have to put in our minds together to deal with the situation. Now, how much of mediation, and because I remember out of my own experience having done advocacy and having, appeared in number of Central Union of India cases in the Bombay High Court and before arbitrators as such. The 1940 Arbitration Act was then repealed, and we have the 1996 Arbitration and Conciliation Act, which prompts the lawyers, the courts, and which makes a specific provision for mediation, conciliation, and negotiation as such. Even from a humanitarian or a spiritual perspective, mediation was something which was always given significance, and that is where, though it may not have the same efficacy as that of an order of the court, a civil court, or a criminal court as such, but mediation has always played a prominent role. To what extent has it been effective during this COVID-19 pandemic is something which we need to deserve our focus. Imparting legal education leads to realization of three precious words within the preamble of the Constitution. That's justice, liberty, and equality. So it's justice, social, economic, and political. It's liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, and equality of status and of opportunity. Today, after 2 years of this COVID-19 pandemic situation, if I have to ask a question to myself, or if I have to ask a question to any one of you, how much do we live up to these three precious words within the preamble of the Constitution of India? Do we truly live up to these three precious words, or we outlive these three precious words? Is something which we all need to introspect and, research on. I'm a great admirer of late Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer, and having read a significant report of 1973, which is titled as Processual Justice to the People, he has observed that what role a law school clinic can play, in ensuring that justice is done to all the cadres of the league, not only all the human beings as such. And in this very report as such, he has mentioned that law school clinic is indeed a visible and effective instrument for community education. So community education and a wide variety of far-reaching preventive legal services programs as such. Thus, the institution of administration of justice need to partner with law schools to serve the needs of the society. How many of the law school partners with NGOs? Like just about 15 days back, I was one of the participants. I was invited as a resource person at a regional consultation on bringing about reforms under the criminal laws and trying to, emancipate the status of women as such. There was a huge discussion that the event was organized in collaboration with by the Symbiosis International University with the National Commission for Women. How many of the teachers, how many of the students, how many of the NGOs? It's a unique case where, just during such situations, we assemble, we discuss something, we prepare a report, and we send it in order to ensure that, the services reaches to all the strata of the society. In this process of, justice delivery as such, law schools play a very prominent role. I have my own reservations about the national law schools as such. Yes, students are the residential students as such, and they learn intensely, to research on a particular issue with 24/7 classes and all. But nevertheless, how much of there has been an output with regard to, the working of the national law schools when it comes to the societal, the community-based programs as such. When I'm advocating for ADR, when I'm advocating for clinical legal education as such, it is a teacher who inculcates value. Whilst teaching legal education, when a student is being trained, it's not just that, the laws are to be taught to a student, values are equally to be inculcated, so that a student does not focus only from the perspective of vested interest for his or her own development as such. A student carries those qualifications with a view, in order to reach out services to the society as such. There is no doubt that yes, one has to look into, from the perspective of economic development, but a legal education as such cannot just be focused from the perspective of economic development, making an earning and being a topmost counsel of the court and gaining publicity and name as such. It is what a student learns. Everything reflects on what a student learns from the time he or she is a student as such, and what are the values which the teacher in a law school or a law college or a law university has inculcated within a student. It will not be out of place to tell. I just gave an example of Justice, the former Chief Justice of US Supreme Court, Justice Earl Warren as such, who was so passionate and he was so touched by, the discrimination as against a young little Negro girl in a classroom. So also the late Justice MP Thakkar, I have seen that, how passionate he was about the rights of the employees and, how those were infringed, and he would often deliver judgment directing the employer to look for the benefit and, from a very humanitarian impulse to look at the benefit of these. The courts have so much taken cognizance of various factors as such. It all reflects on the type of education that a person has got. If one looks and reads the judgments of Justice V.R. Krishna here, you will find a totally humanitarian approach, transgressing the purviews of the existing laws and, ensuring that justice is done to the person who has been a victim of, some form of inequality as such. So if one looks to even Justice P.N. Bhagwati, the eminent judges like Justice D.A. Desai, who are the originators of the concept of, public interest litigations as such, why these PILs were entertained, it reflects on the background of the legal education that they have received. Just yesterday, I was just glancing through a viral video where Justice V.R. Krishna was interviewed and, he was asked a special question, how he flourished in his practice and eventually became a Supreme Court judge as such. He reverted back to the stage from where he took legal education, what sensitized him, to serve the society. What is it that he felt the necessity of, practicing just in the lower courts, by way of learning as such, and then eventually being elevated as a justice of the High Court and then consequently the Supreme Court as such. It's all the values within us. So COVID-19 pandemic has posed several challenges so far as legal education is concerned. The role of teacher is very crucial in almost all these challenging situations, be it by way of online classes, be it by way of offline classes, be it by way of hybrid mode as such, where there has to be a blend between these values and laws as such, and accordingly a student be trained as such. I have been a witness to a situation where we were not certain tomorrow what could happen. Today, whom we had seen alive in Mumbai was no more tomorrow. That was the ground situation when it came to the state of Maharashtra, when there was a steep rise in, the death rate and mortality rate during the COVID-19 pandemic as such. So I think it is these values which plays a crucial role, which only the parents and the teachers can do. And therefore, I don't don't regret for having given up my profession, a roaring profession of 12 years advocacy in the High Court, and having taken up academics since past 22 years, exclusively being an academician as such. A teacher plays a very, very prime role, even facing all these challenges which occur within the society. So if these words and if the reports of the pendency of cases in the court of law, because when I'm advocating for ADR, this had a legal recognition even prior to the Arbitration and Conciliation Act of 1996 in the form of Legal Services Authorities Act of 1987, in the form of amendment within CPC under section 89 of the CPC, where the court can also, go to the extent of directing parties to meet a mediator and try to bring about settlement. The Legal Services Authorities Act of 1987 also made such provisions with regard to establishment of lok adalats and trying to amicably settle the matter, because ultimately it's the litigants who are the sufferers. Law schools, and often therefore it is said, how can legal education become justice education? Well, if students are trained to mediation and they are trained and they learn all these skills, analytical skills, how to face the clients, how to take instructions from the client, how to, very with a humanitarian approach, say that, their matter would be, would reach a better results, a successful result as such, is the role that ADR and the clinical legal education can play. I was wondering when there was a movement by Anna Hazare, on right to information, and when I was crossing the VT local railway station, there were a group of people with the Anna topi, me Anna hai, me Anna hai. Casually, I happened to ask my LLM students, how many of y'all have at least signed a campaign that when right to information is a right which is implicit within our fundamental rights as such, at least endorsing that yes, right to information, there has to be a law and everyone has got a right. None of my students could reply the query. As against this, I have seen in Delhi University and some of the prominent universities as such, where students are forced to take up these projects, going to the prisons, going to the old age homes, rendering their services during COVID-19 pandemic with all precautions, of course, going to provide food and, clothing and all the requirements for for those who have lost their jobs as such. I think it can be done only with the backing of a teacher as such. So mediation plays a very, very important role. Conciliation plays an important role, in bringing down the pendency, which a student who has whilst running a clinical legal cell as such, legal aid cell, can play a very crucial role. The figures that have come is, currently about 4 crore cases in the country are pending in different courts in India. And in this current post-pandemic situation, the role of law teacher in training student is therefore very, very immense as such. People may not agree with the views if you try to blend values with legal education as such, but I'm sure when we try to connect law with logic, when we try to connect law with social values, when we try to connect law with morality as such, there is a definite blend between these aspects, and that can be passed on only by a teacher students when it comes to legal education as such. So not worrying about the various challenges that take place in the society due to this COVID-19 pandemic situation, I think teachers can boost up the moral of student. I have come across such cases where students have been calling up the universities and colleges saying that now it's high time, after 2 years they want an offline class. Today's news again disheartens us with again, the next wave of COVID again rising as such. So one has to look at you know, what in future, what is it, what are the further challenges that we would be facing as such. But nevertheless, looking to all this comprehensively, I am of a firm view that you know, teachers play a very prime role in imparting legal education, and it eventually reflects in the personality of a person, be it as a lawyer once he qualifies to be a lawyer, and or be it, you know, as a judge, or be it in any such positions of judiciary as such. That is what I had to say in this post-COVID period, you know, what as to what has been the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on legal education. And I'm sure all of you would endorse my view without exceptions, because what I have told is being a teacher myself, and I'm indeed very, very grateful to my own wing, jurist wing of the Brahmakumaris, for giving me this opportunity, collaborating with the Belgaum Law College, Bellad Law College, and I'm grateful to the organizers, to the host, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. Om Shanti and good day to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Ashmi ma'am, for sharing your enlightening words and telling us about the
1 minute, Chandni. 1 minute. Madam, it has been a very fantastic experience to listen to you again and again. We have been following your speeches both on webinars hosted by us and also wherever your speeches are available. Yes, madam. We strongly endorse that the present day requirement is, instead of legal education, we have to move towards the justice education. And I'm sure that I'm happy to inform you that our college students are more involved in alternative dispute resolution system activities. Recently on March 12th, when National Lok Adalat was conducted, 22 students of our college have helped the District Judicial Services Authority, Legal Services Authority in getting more than 280 cases settled and helped the judges there. So definitely we look forward, as you suggested, that what should be the role of the teachers in taking the legal education to the students. It's nice to listen to you, madam. Thank you very much. Om Shanti.
Should there be any questions? Justice Pashapure sir is here. I am here. Should any students feel the necessity of asking any questions, we'll be glad to answer if it is. Or if you're shy, you can put it in a chat box as well.
Yes, ma'am. Now we have the question and answer round. Now may I call upon Dr. Supriya M. Swami, ma'am, Assistant Professor of B.V.Bellad Law College, to conduct the question and answer session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chandni. Respected speakers of all the sessions, principals, sir, and participants. Really, it is one of the best national workshops which we have organized so far during this academic year, with thought-provoking speech by all the speakers. We have organized this workshop in both the modes, that is offline mode for our college students and online for outside participants. Now, with the permission of all the speakers, I will begin with question and answer session. There is one question.
I can't see. There is some disturbance.
Mr. Vishal Sudgatti, student of second year, Dr. Rashid. I repeat, how to improve concentration during studies?
How to improve concentration? Madam, your voice is not reaching me. Your bandwidth is low.
Madam, the question was how to improve the concentration while studying.
Sorry?
How to improve concentration? How to improve concentration while studying?
How to improve concentration while studying? How to improve concentration while studying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. There is no law which provides us a solution to improve concentration while studying. So it is only within the mind. and it is only within the heart of a person to improve concentration. Your concentration is your focus. Your focus is your goals. So in that case, concentrate. It is the spirituality which teaches you concentration. So be it whatever type of spiritual ways that you would adapt, I think that is what plays a very crucial role. And one has to look to the goals, it is this spiritual practice, maybe, for whatever limited time that it enhances one's concentration. Spirituality teaches the concentration, the power of concentration as such, which I have experienced, and therefore I'm reflecting my views out of my own experience, because we don't have a medical we don't have advancements in science and technology has not made any such provision to enhance our concentration or to enhance. They have just flopped when it comes to keeping us happy, keeping our mind concentrated to and focused to a particular issue. So it is only these spirituality, which and spiritual practice every day, steadily, that will increase your concentration power, because only then you can concentrate towards your goal and accordingly move ahead. Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. One more question. How should we, what should be our study exercise, ma'am?
What should be the our
study exercise?
As morning, I'm sure you all must have had a session on so you're going, if it's going to be legal, I think we are governed by the BCI, so that has to be so. But if it is, you wish to relate it with your legal education, then your study exercise has got to be a positive inculcation, or inciting a positive thought every day morning. As students, I think, and from the perspective of a teacher, I can very validly say that a positive thought, because every day morning when you wake up, let's start with a positive thought that, well, today I will devote at least about 1 hour or half an hour exclusively for my studies. Today I will remain silent for, so today I will not get upset or irritated. In any positive thought, which is a value based positive thought, I think that is something by experience and by dwelling yourself into it, you learn.
Thank you, ma'am. One more question, ma'am. How we can implement values in our profession?
Oh, that's a very challenging question, how we can implement values, because when it comes to profession, it's lawyering. So lawyer has to go as per the laws. But nevertheless, values can be implemented as well in the profession. Teaching as a profession, being your way of speaking, your behavior, your howsoever wrong a person, your opposite person may be, how you keep control over your thoughts by filtrating your thoughts and keeping a passion is what which will work to a very, very great extent, when we try to imbibe these values by way of positive thought and eliminate negative thought. A judge may get irritated with you when you're arguing a case. And nevertheless, after hearing him, you can in your own soft way, because it is that which wins. My voice is not audible. Somebody has put a message.
Yes, ma'am,
that
you're audible, ma'am. You're audible.
So even if a judge, I as I told you, I narrated an example that I just happened to see a video which was made viral where the judges got very irritated on a lawyer and suspended his license to practice anymore for misleading the court. And I could see his reaction. He kept on apologizing, kept on. So if you are at fault, there is no harm in apologizing. So and when can one apologize if one has imbibed those values with? If you're wrong, you're wrong. When the former Chief Justice of India, Justice P.N. Bhagwati, late Justice P.N. Bhagwati, called an open press meeting to make a confession that his judgment in ADM Jabalpur was a faulty judgment 37 years after his retirement. And he said, today, if I were to rewrite a judgment, I would support the minority dissenting judge, Justice Hansraj Khanna. Well, that is values which speaks for itself. You know, a student may have copied in the examination. There is a way of, putting up thing rather than pulling his collar and bashing him up and telling. That's an artless art of repartee. So values play a very prominent role even in the profession. Okay, like Gandhiji was told that you're a flop lawyer. You know, he was once told by his opponents that you didn't achieve anything, you were a flop lawyer. In a very peaceful manner, he told that, well, you may think it's a flop lawyer. I have always tried bringing parties together before stepping the corridors of court. So, I have lost nothing. I have tried to bring about conciliation between the parties before advising them that go and get your disputes adjudicated by the court. And I have lost nothing in the process. I have not lost even money because they saved a lot of money without going to the court getting their matter settled. I have not lost anything. Specifically, I have not lost my soul. So, what my soul said, I did. And therefore, I don't think that I am a flop lawyer. I am a most successful lawyer.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Then key behavior of a successful advocacy profession. Being a lawyer doesn't mean that if you shout in the court and if you're very forceful in your way of presenting, shouting in the court and getting excited and exaggerating facts, it's not so. I have seen topmost counsels, in a very comprehensive, very precise manner, in a very soft-spoken way also, doing their advocacy, and yet they are most successful lawyers. So these are all values which play a crucial role, not just in legal profession, but in any other profession. Can we think of going to a doctor who just bounces on the patient and threatens the patient of, you will die or you have a very complicated case? Well, you would always prefer going to a doctor who will give solace, saying that, yes, don't worry, you will be that itself. These things which percolates through the values itself heals a person to a great extent. So I think that plays a very prominent role in the society.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, any questions? You can unmute and ask.
We can conclude, I think. We can conclude, Supremana.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for your satisfactory answer. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity, sir, and I'm hoping to meet all of you all online as well. Thank you.
Yes.
May I now call upon Dr. Jyoti G. Hiremat ma'am, Workshop Coordinator of B.V.Bellad Law College, Belagavi, to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Chandni. I quote, "Let us be grateful to people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom." I unquote. So with the 3 brainstorming sessions, now we are at the end of this event. And it's my privilege to propose vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this online workshop happen. First of all, I present my heartfelt thanks to the speaker of first session, Dr. E.V. Swaminathan, for motivating all of us from the great dirt of pandemic. It's a great and exceptional opportunity to hear you, sir. And being busy in his schedule, he has shared his brilliant thoughts to motivate my students and participants. Thank you, sir. I also like to thank Justice V. Ishwariya, former Judge, High Court of Andhra Pradesh, for making us aware about the latest happening in the law profession and opportunities for the young lawyers. Being busy in his schedule, Justice Sir has shared his valuable time with all of us with his great thoughts of wisdom. Thank you, sir. It's my proud privilege to express my heartfelt gratitude towards Rashmi Ozaji, who has joined us second time and elaborated a lot about issues and challenges before the legal education. Madam, being expert in academics from many years, has really given us a great insight on the theme of workshop, which enlightened teaching community a lot. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
I also thank Brahmakumari Lata Behenji, National Coordinator of Brahmakumaris Jurist Wing, in the organization of this event. And I express my special thanks to Vidya Behenji, National Coordinator of Jurist Wing Brahmakumaris Belagavi, for her wonderful prefatory talk in the absence of Lata Behenji and all the cooperation she has extended in the organization of this workshop. Thank you, Behenji. I also express my heartfelt thanks to Justice Pashapure sir for his valuable feedback on the theme of this workshop. Thank you, sir. And all the academicians, law professionals, and especially members of Jurist Wing of the Brahmakumaris who have joined from various states of India and made this workshop a meaningful platform. I also express my special thanks to Principal Dr. Jaisima sir for his consistent support in the organization of this workshop. Thank you, sir. I express my special thanks to all my colleagues for their contribution and continuous support in the carrying out of this workshop. I am thankful to Ms. Chandni, Master of Ceremony, for her untiring work. I express my thanks to Ms. Preeti, Mr. Abhishek, Mr. Vinay, and Ms. Pratima, my students, for introducing star speakers of this session. I especially thanks to Mr. Nandan Patil for all the technical support who has extended for this happening of workshop, and thankful to all the non-teaching and menial staff for their support in the organization of this workshop. At the outset, I also thanks to all my dear students, participants of my college, to whom you can see on the screen, from last 3.5 hours, they are sitting in the class and listening to the great speakers. Really, that helped and motivated them. And I especially thanks all of you and say that please take away and adopt many good things which has been shared by the speakers today to come up from the shadows of pandemic and excel once again in your field. I wish you all the best for your wonderful career ahead. Thank you one and all. Thank you, madam. Now we have posted feedback link. Chandni will instruct about that. Over to you, Chandni.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. All the participants, the feedback link has been posted in the chat box of the Zoom and in the comment section of the YouTube, and it will be open for the 10 more minutes. So kindly click on it, and it will not be posted in any of the groups. Thank you.
Yeah, we thank you, madam. We will once again meet offline very soon in the next semester.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you for sharing your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Vidya Kore. Thank you. Namaskar.
So, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ನೀವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ
thank you. Yes, yes.
ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಹಳ ನಮಗೂ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ಬೇಕಿದೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. ಅವಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ತರ ಒಂದು ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ಚಿಂತನೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ.
ಹೌದು ಹೌದು. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್.
Yeah, Vidyaji. Thank you.
ಆಯ್ತ್ರಿ. ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್. ಒಳ್ಳೆ
ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ ಅಕ್ಕಾರಿ, ಯಾರು ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ಯಾರ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ.
ಹಾ, ಈ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದಾರೆ
ಕಳಿಸ್ತೇನೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ.
ಓಕೆ.
Yes.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೈಟ್ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡೇನಿ
ಹಾ
ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ
ಯಾವಾಗ
ನೀನು ಬಿಜಿ ಅದ ಅಂತ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಇದ
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಹಾಕ್ಸೋಣ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದೇರ್
ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು
ಇಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಅದು ಬಿಡು. ಟೇಕ್